Hey, screeners. It's not the one AJ Anthony Jordan. It's just me, Nico Lurot. Mr. AJ is having some technical issues on his end. And I think, oh my God, I think he's here. Is he here? Oh, this was the most awkward start ever. He's certainly doing something in the background. Oh my God, AJ's here. Ah! And the hair looks mad too.
Hey.
Hi, thanks for gracing me with your presence.
Okay, so we don't recall where it kicked off with this new time is very difficult for me to get home and kick back. But yes.
We do. I just thought I'd give you some shit about it.
No. Sadly, we haven't had a chance to catch up, but we will do.
We'll do this after. We'll have a proper catch up after.
Yeah. Screeners, how you doing?
It's good to have you everyone here. Francis Lalonde is in the house. Den's back. Hey. Den the Tech is in the house. We've got a few people joining us live. Happy as always. Let me switch these screens around, my friend, because it's your turn this week.
Oh, shit. Hey, even better. Cool.
Declan's here. Haven't seen you for a few weeks. Hey, lads. Declan, great to have you back. Follow Declan at Just a Movie Fan. Riri Thomas is here. Evening all. Loving the thumbnail. Yes, the thumbnail's big, isn't it? Oh, my God, AJ. Look who's in the house. It's Chris Trengrove. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
This has to be a first. Hello there, Chris. Welcome.
Frank Torres is in the house too. Hello, friends. Hope all is well. Great to see you guys all here. I'm actually quite chuffed about. I'm chuffed about everyone being here, of course. But this is the first time Mr. Chris Trengrove is joining us live.
So I don't even know. I don't know if Chris has ever been there. Again, apologies for the wild hair. There was a point where Chris's comments were so powerful and interesting, I would say, that there was even a Chris chant that used to go on, because it was like the minute I heard Chris is written in, it was like, wow. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate everybody's comments, but yeah, Chris has an interesting
Chris
comment.
Trengrove is definitely famous on this show, by the way, because we've mentioned him a lot of times, and I've had back and forths with Mr. Trengrove on Twitter, only to find that he's never actually watched the show. He knows his movies. And what's really good about Chris is you're aware of this. What's good about Chris is he actually knows movies that I've never heard of. Like, he'll pull things out of nowhere. Did you know about this? I'm like, I don't know.
What I'm really happy about is that Chris pulled out Mangrove.
Oh!
I'm really happy for Mangrove.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Look who else is here. Morgan Page is in the house.
Hey,
people just checking in before practice. I'll listen to this back tomorrow. 2022 is about to be lit. By the way, Morgan Page is a head coach for the North Dakota women's basketball team. So please go and check them out and support them. Then the cook says the hair, and Chris Trengrove is like, wow. Yes, Chris, that's an intro for you, bro. It's a proper intro. And AJ, sorry, you were talking about Mangrove.
Yeah, the Mangrove. It's one of those small act films that was put together by I keep forgetting his name. The director.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it too, I'm afraid, mate.
Yeah, but 12 Years a Slave, that director. Anyone, feel free to.
McQueen.
Steve McQueen, that's the one. Steve McQueen. Yeah. So, and Chris had seen that Mangrove one where we were talking about the trials, and I agree. Thoroughly enjoyed that film there by Steve McQueen. So thank you, Chris, for sharing that knowledge and having me not be the only one aware of what that film was about. I mean, some people have seen it, but I know it was like a BBC thing and it's only available on iPlayer. Had a chance to watch it yet?
No, I have not. I've told you this already. I'm not the biggest Steve McQueen fan. I wasn't a big sacrilege. Didn't really like 12 Years a Slave, but each to their own, as we say.
Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, so kind of you. Chris has got jokes, so kind of you. I'm blushing. It's like, Chris, stay tuned.
Part of my lateness was the global B.
Naked HD online strips without clothing. I think we're going to ban that person right now.
If we could do, please.
Yeah, they're blocked. That's done. Don't need porno links on our channel. Oh, more porno links coming through. No, they're blocked too. Very good. Thank you. And now back to actual proper movies, not adult movies. I think we need to put a disclaimer out for this week, especially in the presence of the almighty Chris Trengrove, because where I've mentioned that Chris really knows his, and I say this positively, Chris, obscure films that aren't, a mainstream blockbuster, as do a lot of people in the chat. Francis Lalonde, I've said, is like the maestro of getting these film shots that are from famous films, but nobody can recognize. I still can't crack the code. So, Francis, big up yourself. Frank Torres, likewise, like the people in our chat really know their movies. So, I think we need to put a disclaimer out going, when it comes to a most anticipated list of the following year, we are very much at the mercy of the product that is put in front of us, which is the trailer or the movie poster, or in some cases, just the hype for the existing IP.
Even the actor sometimes. I think the actor has a lot of attraction to it as well. So in some cases, I can't say too much for me. Yeah, I think most of it is IP, to be honest. And this, can I say it's one of those where this list was, you could easily go like, hey, it's going to be quite easy. And then you find out there's more films and you don't want to be like, hey,
Yeah,
3 things sure in life. And I try to avoid being utterly, like, I could have done a top 10 purely comic book. It's heavy.
most definitely, without blinking.
Yeah.
Without blinking. Yeah, I've tried to. It is big IP stuff for most part. There's one kind of, I mean, it's not art house. Freaking Joel Cohen directs this one, but I've tried to pick some movies out that are not major IPs, but I think should have some notoriety to them. And then the tech says only one Marvel movie, please. That's going to be tricky.
That's not possible. Again, it's what's put out there. What you don't know to be out there, it's hard to really anticipate. And this is the problem that we have in the world of marketing at the moment. I think had this been something you got even maybe 10 years ago, where Marvel didn't just dominate the cinema and the box office, you had more trailers of different varieties and different kinds. Now there are different. Everything's IP. I can't lie. Most of it is from an IP in my list. It's one sequel or another or a remake. And don't get me wrong, there are other films, and I could have toyed with other bits, but I'm not going to say I rushed it, but it was just like, well, those are ones that
rushing. You work with what you've got. Like, let's be real. Like, our most anticipated list is very, very, very rarely on par with our best of the year list.
Yeah, do you know what? Thinking of it, I think did we do this last year?
We did.
Yeah, and I'll be honest,
not a single one of my most anticipated from last year made it onto my top 10 of this year.
Yeah, I've just realized I'm actually going to change my number 6, but that doesn't deter us from what we're doing. But yeah, it's what's out there, and you know that the box office people are doing box office shit essentially and marketing the stuff that they know are going to make big numbers. So yes, I would love to say like this really hidden gem of a film that when the trailer comes out, for instance, this time last year, there's no way I would have known of a trailer for Late Night in Soho. I actually quite enjoyed that film.
Last Night in Soho is meant to be fantastic.
I had a really good time with that film. But where would that be in terms of trailers? Even if a trailer was to drop this year, like I don't think we'd be ready for it. So you'd be like, okay, what's coming next? So
Mixed Memorabilia is in the house. Hello, everyone. Mixed Memorabilia, great to have you here. Chris Trengrove has put his first power statement in. I'd also warmly welcome 0 Marvel movies. Chris, you may be on the wrong podcast.
out of all weeks to join, this probably isn't the one to want to be that person. No offense when I say that, but I'm just saying you have to appreciate what's put out by mass media is what we're gonna appreciate.
And then in a few weeks' time, on our last episode of the year, when we talk about our top 10 movies of 2021, I'd be surprised if a single Marvel movie makes it on there for me, especially this year.
I suppose it all depends on how many films you've managed to see. Because what I am trying to do as well is I know last year when we done our top 10 films of the year, we can anticipate we could include films that we've seen for the first time, and it didn't necessarily have to be of 2022. Like last year, I'm trying to keep it 2 films that were films that were released in the year, So, but I've seen a good few bits. What I can say is the Marvel won't be high, even if they do make the list. I don't think they're going to be like it's not taken any top spot so far. They've not hit me in that way, personally speaking.
Riri Thomas says, will you be going to see West Side Story Friday? Will you watch and review it? Also, Last Night in Soho is pretty good, AJ. Listen, it's getting hard at the moment, as I've said, Riri, to go and review all the new films as I used to do, just simply because of my little girl, who's now a month and a bit old. I'm I'm being given special permission to go and see 2 movies this year, which is Spider-Man and the Matrix, which comes out on December 22nd. West Side Story will be a hard one for me to pitch to the wife. I will try. I've heard that it's supposed to be fantastic, and I've heard it's Steven Spielberg back at his best, but here's hoping. I'd like to see it.
Not that I'm an expert in the world of film reviewing. It is something that caught my girlfriend's eye, so you never know.
But your girlfriend picked Cats over Star Wars, so I'm just putting that.
But hey, listen, I'm just saying the film caught her eye, so it may be something I catch in later. For instance, I saw Ghostbusters this weekend, but I was like, this is way too late for a review. It's a real love letter to the first film.
Nice,
honestly,
that's what I wanted.
In that sense, yeah, it's you like the lineage of it, even the villain. Like, I don't want to get into too much in case people want to take it on from fresh eyes. You really, it helped, especially for me, because I just appreciate the Ghostbusters more than appreciating their films. I was like, you see certain bits and you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, there's a lot of links to it in that sense. But it was cool. It was nice.
I've heard the ending is quite emotional. I don't know details, but I've heard the ending.
Yeah, so funny enough, that's another thing. The girlfriend is quite sensitive. She wasn't looking forward to this film, right? I needed a bit of cheering up, which we'll get into a bit later on. And she was like, oh, right, what have you? And basically, she was the one who watched it. She's like, at near the end, she's like, I've even cried in this film. Like, it was, yeah, like we had one of those. So,
nice.
Yeah, it is quite emotional.
Chris, thank you for the message, by the way, saying congrats, much appreciated. And yeah, I see that. I imagine it won't get easier. Riri, I will try to watch West Side Story is the answer, because, man, I love me a musical, and as you saw from last week, and man, I love me some Steven Spielberg when he's on form. So I'm definitely going to try that one out. 12 minutes in, AJ. Should we kick it off?
Right, okay. But before we do, would you like to tell people what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Basically a top 10 show between 2 best friends from school. But for those of you joining us for the first time, how does the podcast actually work? AJ and I each assign ourselves a topic, or sometimes get assigned a topic. We go our separate ways. We make our list. We come back right here into recording and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. Before I continue, hello, my dudes. August Fernandez Britos is in the house. What up, August? Great to have you here, bro. We compile our separate top 10 lists, and we come right back and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10 list. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. AJ will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2, and then we will trade 1 apiece. If at any time while we are rounding off our individual top 10 list, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say,
punt. And
we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the higher position. Once we have rounded off our individual 10 lists, we'll combine and create the Movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential, diverse, must-see movies of the genre, which is going to be damn hard to do this week, because this week is
the top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022. When we done top anticipated films of the summer, I don't know if we actually did do a top 10.
I don't know if we did. We'll discuss doing a Rushmore at the end. We'll see what the audience wants or not.
Cool, right.
But yeah, the audience and the people in the chat, you guys live, you play a massive, massive role into how the Rushmore actually gets decided. So, Chris, this one's to you, brother. All these times you're not happy with our Rushmore selections, this is where you have the power now.
Because I really, oh God.
Love having Chris.
Maybe for films of 2021, he can be. It's going to be awkward for the next few weeks. Like, yeah,
bro, I guarantee you, Chris Trangrove for the films of 2021 will not have a single film on his list that you and me have seen. I guarantee it.
But then I appreciate that, because then it means there's a collection of stuff to go and venture out to see. And on the flip side, yeah, the next few ones. But like, Chris, we need you for the first week of January, or the first January episode. That's where we really get to interact and exchange. These next ones, I think we're just going to be like possibly getting wound up with each other amicably, because you're going to be like, yo, you picked that film, and that leads me in perfectly into my number 10. Yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Now,
okay, first off, I am shocked that you've picked that.
Nate, exactly. So am I. Because I'm not one for horror, as most people know. So this is where I'm like, now I remember when we done gore, and I believe we done horror. This is one of the films that has actually caught my eye. You know, it's had its moment. And more to the point, I'm interested to see what they can do with a film like this with today's technology. And that's where, so am I the most in-depth horror and all over it? Probably
No.
not. But I'm
No.
interested to see what we're going to see. If directed correctly, this film could be the kind of horror that into a slasher horror territory where I'm like, you know what? Maybe you've done well.
My man wants to see James Wan direct the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, doesn't he? You've just like discovered The Conjuring and James Wan. You're like, I like this guy.
We can work with this. We can work with this. Yeah. So not my normal element, but I thought, you know what? The trailer actually caught my eye in a way that I was like,
There's a trailer? Oh shit! Well, I know what I'm watching after this,
bro. It wasn't a big one. I think it was a teaser I saw. No, it couldn't have been when I went to Ghostbusters. That no way would have been applicable for the trailers, but I saw it somewhere, and I was like, hey,
no,
you know,
there is a trailer.
There is
Released 2 days ago.
Yeah. So yeah, worth it. I thought, hey, worth a watch.
Thorin Oakenshield's in the house. Hey guys, Thorin Oakenshield. I'm guessing you have renamed yourself from Biffa the Hobbit here. Otherwise, we've got the whole of the Hobbit clan in the house here.
I was going to say the Shire, but last time I realized it wasn't the Shire. So
Den says, what? And surprise with me too. And Thorin Oakenshield says, my most anticipated movie of 2022 is Avatar 2. Hold your horses. We'll get there. Maybe.
All right. In at number 9, I actually feel like I keep forgetting it when we talk about it. And this last time you done it for the summer, but obviously cinema has had its way of playing us, and it didn't come out in the summer. Has it come up? There we go. Top Gun 2. Top Gun Mavericks, should I say?
That's a punt. That's a punt. That is a punt, sir.
Oh, okay. Right. And in at number 8, the studio that you have said does no wrong. Well, they did with the third film, but I'm interested to see what they do with this one. I'm talking Pixar and Lightyear.
Yeah, this came up a bit on Twitter, actually. Now, can I ask you just quickly what you mean by they did wrong with the third film?
Not the third, the fourth.
I was going to say, wow. Okay. Very
No. I defended the third film more than you did. I got emotional in the third. You were like, hey, of course it wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, they done wrong with the fourth.
Okay, let's be real. It's that part where they're in Dante's Inferno and they're in this 9 circles of hell in that machine. People get emotional in that part. I never bought into the fact that they were going to kill Buzz, Woody, and gang and co. Right? It was when Andy left them at the end. Spoilers, sorry, but it's a 10-plus-year-old film now. Where I was like, oh, ow.
Yeah. So, have you heard this theory? Well, basically, I put this. It could be a pretty long read of all these fan theories that are out there, and there was this fan theory actually that. Just while we're on the topic of Toy Story, they believe that Jessie might have been Andy's mum's toy. Have you ever heard that before?
Oh, I love that theory.
I know, it's quite nice, isn't it? Quite nice.
I mean, no, it's quite horrible, but
it's horrible. But they said there's also this quite nice part that there was a point where, while she was in the house, she was partially reunited with her first owner. Which I
love that. That is a beautiful story.
Yeah,
really like that.
So they're like, yeah, that's something worth having a look at. And then there's another one while we're on the Toy Story theme. Have you seen the Toy Story meme where they're like, Andy, like his dying wish is to be buried with his toys, and then you've got like they go like 5 years later, a decomposed body, and these 2 toys just like shitting themselves next to a skeleton. Don't want to put it out there, but something else. But yeah, let's bring it back. I think Lightyear is quite interesting because this is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, Pixar are going to go meta because their biggest franchise in a world where we've said it, we love what Pixar deliver. They've got this element of Toy Story itself has hit 100% in Toy Story 1 and 2, and that's because of the whole fame of these gangs.
3 should have got that as well, but carry on.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can see where you're going with that. No way did 4 ever deserve it, and I'm thankful it didn't. But it'd be very interesting to see the man behind Buzz Lightyear, the toy that really kicked. Toy Story has a story of adventure, but it was that whole acceptance of who Buzz is and taking in. And I'd like to see what the whole concept and the true reality and giving that character, backstory and the inspiration to make people make this toy. I found it quite interesting. And Chris Evans as the man to take over from Tim Allen. It's hard, it's awkward because Tim Allen created Buzz Lightyear, but again, we're not talking Buzz Lightyear, we're talking about the character that inspired Buzz Lightyear. So it's that one is a double-edged sword in terms of appreciation, and that's why I'm like, it'd be interesting. And where I didn't want to see a Toy Story 4, this I can actually take on.
Yeah, this I can work with.
Yeah.
4 should never have happened. That was
This is
fuckery.
my Toy Story 4 essentially.
Yeah, I'd like to erase Toy Story 4 from mind. August Fernandez Brito says Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is his most anticipated. That trailer was pretty freaking cool, wasn't it? Declan says really hope Lightyear is good. That makes 2 of us right here, my bro.
Same.
Den says best studio ever. I agree, and I've said this numerous times.
I actually thought you were going to say someone else. Another animation studio, just slightly more east.
What, Ghibli?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I've never.
I know you love them. I know you're not knocking them.
I love Studio Ghibli, but no, sorry. Like do I think Studio Ghibli's content is more original? Yes, but probably only through the prism of a Western viewer. Right. Oh, Chris Trengrove with the second power statement. Ghibli better than Pixar.
So I brought that up in just in time, didn't I?
You certainly did. Yeah, mate, I'm excited for Lightyear.
Cool. But that's my bottom 3.
Is it?
Yeah, we punted on
Oh, no,
one.
we punted one. Of course we did. My bad. All right, over to me then. Right, there's not actually a poster for this yet, so I kind of struggled with it. But it is Global Bastard Alone coming out this year. I'm a sucker for dinosaurs, so I have to put this in. Jurassic World Dominion.
I was interested in this one. I think it was the 11, if I'm honest. I think it was my 11.
So I'm an unapologetic defender of Jurassic World, even though I know it gets panned now. I actually think it was very cool seeing John Hammond's vision come to life like that, and shit still goes wrong. Like, I really like Jurassic World. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I did not have much time for. I like some of the nods they had to old movies like Nosferatu. I can't even remember the Indominus Raptor. I just called it the Holy Minosaurus. Because that thing was mean, bro. Jesus. That fucked up dinosaur they created at the end was proper mean. But Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time. To this day, remains my greatest cinema experience of all time. And it's the kid in me, man. I can't be told that there's going to be another movie with dinosaurs on screen and not get excited.
Do you know what? I saw Jurassic World, whatever the second one was. I'm going to call it Jurassic World 2, whatever the hell they call it. And I was actually really excited I was like, okay, what's going on next? But then I was kind of like, where are they going with this next? And there is this one problem that kind of held back, is that no matter what they've done, nothing beats Jurassic Park. And this is the issue. You know, this is kind of the issue that I have with it. It's like, you're good, but nothing has been able to capture. Yeah, nothing has been. They've tried, but nothing has captured me like that. And that's where I'm like, I'm excited. I'll give it a shot. But like, you know, sometimes you're like, damn, I missed that one in the cinema. I'd be like, all right, I did. Visually, it's better to see a Jurassic movie in a cinema.
Of course.
But I'm like, yeah. I want to see it. I also thought it was good. I mean, obviously, I believe the global one may have delayed it. I think it needed to be out around now, or like we should have seen it already. I just feel like I had time to kind of forget about it before it came. Now, that could be globally because of good old pandemic. If that's the case, yes. If it's because we've been waiting, I felt like I've waited too long.
Yeah. And I'm just seeing a lot of the comments here. And, you know, Francis Lalonde, for instance, I agree with you. Lost World was stupid, but I'm with you. I'm also an unapologetic defender of Jurassic Park 3. Seeing a Spinosaurus knock bust the living fuck out of a T-Rex, that's just good cinema. I don't care who you are. Seeing monsters go at it like that, that's good cinema. Chris Trengrove agrees, AJ, for the win, Jurassic Park. Yep, agreed. We got a few Jurassic Park 3 fans in the audience. Fantastic. Frank Torres, I'm a rare fan of Jurassic Park 3. Right there with you. Tucky says Jurassic Park is my favorite movie ever. No competition. Bro, I hear that. I completely get it. Completely get that. And then says Jurassic World was the biggest film at the time. I can't bet against the dinosaurs. You can't. Even with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which was not a good movie, there were scenes in it. And ultimately, we're talking popcorn blockbusters here. There are scenes in it where it's like, you know what? I'm seeing a big dinosaur on screen. I am entertained. I am, in answer to Maximus's question, yes. Yeah, can't go wrong with dinosaurs, says Declan. And then Tucky says, I take Lost World over 3. The third one was 90 minutes, like a straight to DVD. Lost World still had size. Both are true. Both are true. Both are very, very true. The third one did feel like a straight to DVD thing, but I enjoyed it. 2 was good until they decided to take the T-Rex and put it in San Diego. I was like, so Godzilla.
I think that's what they're trying. This is the problem as well, is that it starts to blur the lines, doesn't it? Of like, where they just go, yeah.
And I'm sick of people saying Godzilla's a freaking dinosaur. It's like, no, just no.
I'm aware of that.
No.
I'm aware of that. But yeah, to the casual eye, you know, but yeah.
But yeah,
anyway,
big dinosaurs for my number 10. In at number 9, we're talking big. We're talking one of the biggest video game franchises of the modern day. How could one possibly be excited for a video game movie? Well, it's called Uncharted, and it stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
And it's punted.
It's punted. Both punted at number 9. Very good, sir. In at number 8, this is not you at all, and this is going to alienate half the people in the audience like that. I've always been a sucker for this shit. In at number 8, Johnny Knoxville and co. Jackass Forever.
Do you know what's really funny is when I typed in films of 2022, I saw this. I was like, I wonder if Nick knows. I mean, really, actually, I'm shocked that the chance of you not knowing. Like, this has never been me. It's never.
I know. It's never.
Like, it is what it is.
Your jam. Do you know what I thought was so wonderful about the MTV generation movies like this? Yes, the pranks were good, and yes, it's kind of what spawned the prank culture that permeates YouTube now. And arguably, it's what spawned the vlog culture that's what permeates YouTube now. But there was a certain magic that all of these boys had together. The chemistry they had, they were kicking the shit out of each other, but there was a certain brotherhood they all had together. They're all kind of rockers, skateboarders, guys. It always warmed me that. And sorry, we've got to remove some more porno links here and blocked. I love the fact that we're clearly doing well enough that we're attracting porno bots now. Cool. And we've got a few people who have agreed with me here. Sorry, Francis Long, back to the Jurassic Park comment. Yes, did seem to be trying to kaiju the T-Rex, literally. Declan says it's the people that let the films down. Dinosaurs are cool. Same issues with the Kong vs. Godzilla. Hell yeah, from Den, I'm guessing is for Jackass.
Really. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, we was on the other one.
Riri Thomas says Thor: Love and Thunder is up there for me, as apparently I have heard Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe, I didn't know Christian Bale is in it. That's confirmed. Chris Trengrove says opposite of Alienation, Nico. I'm more hooked now than ever. My guy. Love that, Chris. Declan says Jackass is also in my top 10. Good. So it should be, because it's a world of fun. Frank Torres says, when you were hyping Uncharted, I thought you were going to swerve and tell us Sonic the Hedgehog 2. No, AJ will probably bring that up on his list, but that's nothing to do with me.
We'll have to wait and see.
Francis Lalonde says, not sure I'd watch it, but that screen still for Jackass is somewhat awesome. Can we bring that up again? Let's just check on this. Like, they are firing a fully grown man dressed as a rooster out of a rocket. I'm sorry. That's just fun.
It just doesn't do it for me. I get it. I get it. It's what it does for people, but it just doesn't. Like, there are two things that came out of the world of MTV that has just never tickled me. Jackass and South Park, like that's always.
How can you not like South Park?
Bro, it's just never worked for me. Like, I know, but I can't say never, because I did see one episode and it had me in stitches. But
yes,
in general, I've never really wanted. Like, South Park was never that thing for me, and Jackass was the same. Yeah. Respect to everyone who does, but
Jackass 3D was the best 3D movie. Mixed Memorabilia says, really looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon by Scorsese, Crimes of the Future with Viggo Mortensen, and Escape from Mogadishu, Korean film, true story. Escape from Mogadishu, I'm super looking forward to. Taki says, can't beat golf course air horn. Right, see, my people, Francis Lalonde, thank you. Declan Jackass is just mindless fine. Okay, I haven't alienated people as much as I thought here. AJ, that island of yours is getting
I actually
small.
didn't think you would, because I mean, the fact that they can make this isn't the second movie. Like, this is a few movies in. Like, yeah, there's obviously a market for it. I get it. I mean, Jackass is still on TV now, for God's sakes, and it inspired all these other similar shows. Like, it's powerful. I don't deny it. Just yeah.
It is. And Frank Torres says, at this point, I'm going to Jackass for the audience reaction. That's what it does for me. But yeah, and you know what? I've always said this. There is something monumentally healthy and I think almost therapeutically beautiful about a group of strangers having a common emotion together. That's one of the reasons I love cinema. People you've never met, but you are all in an auditorium laughing out loud at the stupidity you're seeing on screen. There's something great about that. I think that's magical. That's part of the magic of movies for me. And you know what? I have a feeling with this Jackass, what's quite sad is that there's one or two cast members who aren't returning. Some because they're dead, RIP to Ryan Dunn. Some because they've had massive fallouts. Bam Margera not in it, or Bam Margera if you prefer. That's a messy story. I'm not going to get into that one. You can read up on it. But I am looking forward to seeing Knoxville and Steve-O and Wee Man. Come on. It's at this point, Jackass is nostalgic, for Christ's sake. Like, and nostalgia always wins, bro. Oh man. And then the text says, "What? You don't like South Park?"
Just don't. Sorry. There's no depth to it. Like,
and then says, "I'm taking you to Jackass, AJ."
I don't think you are. I honestly don't think you are. Like,
Mixed Memorabilia is kind of with you there. Yeah, South Park and Jackass. Take it or leave it. Not for me. AJ, that island is getting bigger. Francis Lalonde says, I would not have gone to see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back if my girlfriend hadn't dragged me to watch it and loved it. Yeah, but there you go. See? Stupid movie, and it's great fun. Probably the one Will Ferrell movie I actually like. Said it. So yeah, that was my number 8. AJ, your number 7.
Right, in at number 7 for me. Where are we now? Oh, right. Yeah, so it was the punt from earlier. We're talking Tom Holland and Uncharted. Yeah. I thought it was really excited. That's why I forgot. But it's still a punt all the same anyway. But yeah, do you know, it's weird because you can look at Tomb Raider, and I have not seen the new one yet. I've not been able to get around to it yet. It's good, yeah? But I feel that some you take some video games and you try to make obviously a video game has a story, but you base it off of something. You take something like Street Fighter and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. Then you have others like Mortal Kombat, which was out this year, and you could have a good laugh with it, but you built a story.
Mortal Kombat was great, don't you?
It was awesome. It was all kinds of awesome. Trust me, I'm not hating on it at all in any way. But what I'm saying is, then you've got other, like the core of the story is a fight to the death, a tournament that has fights to the death is essentially what it's about. Then you have something like Uncharted, which gives you so much depth and possibility. And this is what excites me. And then it's also good to hopefully give people a chance to see Tom Holland other than good old Spidey, and you take that mix, and I'm quite anticipated to it. And then Mark Wahlberg, I just laugh at because I never know what I'm going to get from. I kind of know what I'm going to get from Mark Wahlberg, and I always just giggle. It's like, oh, there we are again. But there's something about this that makes me feel they might get it right. We have these elements of fear of what can be, what won't be. I believe there's enough of a blueprint for this to go right, and that's why I'm quite excited for it. I don't think it can go wrong. It can.
Of course, but I was just going to pick up on the excited. Oh, hell yeah, I'm excited for this film. Like, the trailer, perfect. And now, to answer a few of the audience questions, Chris Trengrove says, have you guys played the video games? I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the spin-off with the two ladies. Love them all. Uncharted 2. Huh?
You don't remember the name of the spin? Is it under the Uncharted banner, yeah?
It is. It's Uncharted. Okay. I think it's called Uncharted Lost Legacy, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, I may have it. Do you know what? I brought the collection. I've started playing number 1. I've not finished any, but yeah.
1 was quite annoying, actually, in parts, because essentially the enemies, I mean, it's like waves and waves and waves of endless enemies, and some of them are absolute bullet sponges. all of the things which it was a bit rough around the edges got completely refined into, to the degree why I actually say Uncharted 2 is my second favorite game of all time. I adore that game. Adore it. Tucky says new Tomb Raider was pretty solid. It was. And if they can build on that, the way that Uncharted the game built on the principles of Tomb Raider, if the Uncharted movie can build on how good that Tomb Raider movie was, in context of it being a video game movie, of course,
But do you see what I'm saying? When you've got enough ground bases, because I have heard that the film is a carbon copy of the game, right?
They're perfect then. Very good.
When you follow enough of the story that's there and just don't trouble it, you just make it live action. It's pretty much for the win. And this is what I'm hoping they do with Uncharted.
It is. Uncharted is something that will lend itself well to that, because whereby games have always struggled to transfer well to films is because games are essentially something which is very self-controlled, experiential. You know, you need to have that shock of when a mountain falls on you, like in Uncharted. But it's the sort of thing that will lend itself pretty well to a visual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's like, yeah, my favorite game of all time, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Amazing story. Would not translate well to a film. Just wouldn't. Metal Gear Solid. Fantastic story. Yeah, you could build a movie that would semi-reflect the political spy espionage intrigue of it. But all those tense moments where you're around the corner and like, please don't turn the corner, please don't turn the corner, please don't turn the corner. You can't experience that in a movie.
Come off it. And the thing is, it does become a caricature of itself because you need that, what was that? Don't shoot me. Like all of those elements that we really enjoyed. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? All those elements that we really enjoyed then kind of get taken away from you. And let's be honest, I always say it, right? And this is why people look out for it, but it will not come. Metal Gear Solid, number one, can never be made into a game or film, remade as a game, or become a film, because it's stuff like Psycho Mantis. What am I meant to do? Sit in the other chair for it to become like?
No, they'll just turn it into a CGI fest.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. This is what those elements that you needed, that required it immersed you into it as a game. You will never feel it as a film. So yes, you could build a great story around it. And I believe there was a lot of story to Metal Gear before Metal Gear Solid, which take or leave. But
in the wonderful world of Kojima's brain,
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, but I think they were like Sega Master System, that kind of old. But yeah, you can use the story, but that immersion and that excitement that you had from playing Metal Gear Solid,
you won't have it.
Can never be redeemed.
Which is why it is so freaking difficult to adapt a game to a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed, you would think endless story. My God, that film was bad.
But I don't know what the hell they've done there, because there is a wealth of story there, and they came up with that crap. And I'll be honest, I've never actually finished it because I keep falling asleep.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's terrible.
Truly awful. Francis Lalonde says, "Where's Uwe Boll when we need him?" The wank stain of the film industry. Uwe Boll's pissed right now because just as video games are kind of toying with the idea of becoming good movies, he's like, I did this 20 years ago, you assholes. It's like,
yes, but they weren't good.
Yeah.
They were B. They were
not B. There was nothing B movie about it. They were terrible.
They were terrible.
Frank Torres asks an interesting question. Question for you two in the audience. Is Tom Holland as a good Nathan Drake casting? Yes. Here's why. Some people are saying he's too young. First off, remember Tom Holland is a 25-year-old man. He's baby-faced, granted, but the age isn't a thing.
That's kind of what would make people,
Now, if you've played the Uncharted games, there is, in Uncharted 3, a huge chunk of that game, which is actually prologue, how Nathan met Sully, right? And I think that they're going to kind of pull from that era. So it's going to be bits of Uncharted 3, which is the prologue story. Uncharted 3 isn't exclusively a prologue, like it's mostly Nathan as an adult, but there's like 4 or 5 chapters where you play as like a young Nathan. So I think it's going to be sort of between that and Uncharted 1. And if that's the kind of realm they're going for, then yes, Tom Holland is a perfect casting. Tell you who I've got my question marks over, not because I've got an issue with him, but it's Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Because Sully's an old dude. Sully's kind of like, I always pictured Sully as kind of like the Sean Connery character Indy's father from why am I blanking? Last Crusade. That's kind of the Sully character. For me, Wahlberg, if anything, is too young. Not Holland. It's Wahlberg who's too young for his role. But yeah, I think Tom Holland inspired casting. Declan says, as a huge fan of the Uncharted games, I'm super nervous about this movie. Of course,
it's understandable. It's understandable. Look, even I know we go back to what I said. Mortal Kombat, based on what came out before and this new film that came out, it was like, all right, they're doing it again. Like, good luck to him, kind of thing. It worked. It was awesome. So, like, this is, as Nico said, we're in an era where video game movies are actually doing well. So, finally. Yeah, not all of them. I get it, but we're in an era where it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. You know, even, and I very much hesitate to say this each time I do, Warcraft was not a bad movie.
No, it had something there.
Yeah, you just needed to be more involved in the lore to be able to really appreciate it. It wasn't a bad movie. You just needed to be more invested, and that's the slight problem. You feel kind of left out with it, but it was a good movie, you know. So, yeah, had it been released pre-Lord of the Rings, it would have been a winner.
Big Tone has joined us. Big Tone in the house. Great to see you here, Anne.
I like that.
It's funny you just mentioned Warcraft, AJ, because Francis Lalonde says, thoughts on Warcraft. Spoiler, I liked it. I think he got a bad rap. Yep, with you.
Agree.
We reviewed, it's on the channel now, back in our archive playlist. We reviewed Warcraft 2016, I think, when it came out.
Yeah, when it came out.
I think we both gave it like a 6.5 out of 10. Like, it was entertainment. It wasn't life-altering, but it was a perfectly good time at the movies. Declan says Uncharted 2 was the best game made, period. I agree. Uncharted 2 is the pinnacle of the Uncharted series. Chris Trengrove says, I've also played all 4. Chris, there are 5. Have you played the spin-off, Lost Legacy? If you haven't, you must. You must. I would argue that the best on the Uncharted games, if we're ranking the Uncharted games, in at number 1, Uncharted 2. In at number 2, Uncharted 4. In at number 3, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. In at number 4, Uncharted 3. And in at number 5, the original Uncharted. That's my ranking of them. Okay. Taki says, snap on Ocarina of Time being favorite game ever. Oh, it is. I could... Hey, AJ will have to stop me here. I could talk hours about this game non-stop. It is, for me, the most influential thing ever when it comes to video games. Nothing has changed the sphere of video games more. The live saving system, the menu interaction, the item management, the day and night cycle, the expansive open world with little to no loading times. It's a masterpiece. I fucking love that game. Declan says, agree, Chris, and then goes on to say, should have cast Nathan Fillion years ago. We all wanted Nathan Fillion. This is true. Mixed Memorabilia says,
Nathan Fillion. I get it, but I don't know. He's one of those actors that I'm very much on the cusp with, as it were.
Nathan Fillion. Mixed Memorabilia says, could you please show the Steve McQueen film DVDs I uploaded on Twitter? Yes, I can. Bear with me 1 second, please, Mixed Memorabilia. Francis Lalonde, that is a joke tweet you have sent. Leo's back, Titanic 2, ramming speed. Lol. And the movies from Mixed Memorabilia. First one, actually, I've seen. Shame, with Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan. You've seen Shame, AJ. I'm sure you have. It was when he's the sex addict.
Yes. I did come across that one, yeah.
And Love by Gaspar Noé, I have actually also seen. So for once, Mixed Memorabilia, I have actually seen both of the films you're recommending. That's a shock.
Shame. That was anyway, I won't say it, but pre the broken. Yes, correct. Pre-broken hard drive. Yeah.
Frank Torres says, Psycho Mantis flashbacks of 98 before the internet. My walkthrough guys was shooting in the dorm. How the I fucking do this? Do you know what I love? Frank, if we're talking Metal Gear, my absolute favorite Metal Gear moment, the code is on the box.
I thought that was pure genius.
What the fuck is this box? Oh, it's the video game box. That's so clever. That is still one of the smartest things ever.
Because the thing is, especially, you don't get it so much now, but you used to get these screenshots of the game just to entice you. And you just thought, okay, it was a throwaway moment, and then you're like, oh, and there's the other one that they done, which do you know, it's the detail that you get in Metal Gear Solid. So let's do this in stages. There were always two ways of doing stuff. For instance, I remember you saying you just ran through the field with the wolves or something, or you killed the wolves. Whereas I found out that if you do something, you had the box. I can't remember what it was, but you had the box. You let the wolf urinate on the box. They don't see you as a threat. You know, it's a little bit like that. Then there was other details in the game that I really appreciated. Like, I remember once he gets the sniper rifle and you can shoot rats or birds. I can't remember which one it was, and you could do it. You actually get a call from the commander, and he's like, "Why are you wasting your time shooting all these rats?" Like they had planned what would like people would do as a pastime to that.
It was genius. Genius. Metal Gear's my top 5 of all time. It's genius, that thing.
Yes.
Riri Thomas says, talk about a waste of Fassbender's talent. That's in reference to Assassin's Creed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Trengrove agrees with me. He's a younger Nathan Drake. Yeah, that's fine with me. Mixed Memorabilia says, the Street Fighter 2 animation movie is very good, very similar to manga, very polished and captivating. Big Tone agrees. Street Fighter 2 animation.
I was going to say, I remember Big Tone talking about that when we were at his place.
Yep. But then goes on to say, I feel Wahlberg might steal the limelight a little.
I think he may try to, because that's just the way he acts. Not in a demeaning way. That's just Mark Wahlberg's kind of tries to be present at all times. But it's gonna be Tom's film.
Chris Trengrove says, if Uncharted is successful, don't be surprised if Sony goes down a video game to movie adaptation path with Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, etc. following suit. Now, can I tell you, both of those two games do translate well to movie. God of War the movie, fuck yes, I'm all over that. Likewise, Horizon.
Time will tell.
You still haven't touched God of War, have you?
No, I've got them on the. But I just don't have time. I don't have time because my problem now is that when I have free time, I'm not in the place where the PlayStation is. So it just doesn't give me the chance to be that guy anymore. I miss that guy. My God, if I've even warned the missus, like we're talking about like the full on moving in together, and I'm like, I don't know how much you'll see of me because there's a guy that I need to unleash, and he's been sleeping for a while.
You know what the trick is? Have a baby, right? And then what happens is the baby keeps the wife up all night. And then the trick is you say to the wife at about 9 p.m. when the baby sleeps, it's like, you go catch some sleep. You put the baby on your chest to sleep. You put your headphones on and you smash 3 hours of gaming. Then the baby wakes up. It's feeding time. Hey presto, it's midnight. It's your turn to sleep. Ha-cha! Winning at life.
Do you know what? Oh, God. What I am thankful for is that I didn't have a baby when I played the last Batman game, because those jump scares would have definitely...
Those jump scares are real. Those jump scares are actually real in those Batman games. Yeah, Francis Lalonde saying, dang, getting me somewhat hyped for game to movies. Would love to see decent Diablo. Diablo's such a hard one to make into a movie. That, I think, falls into the Metal Gear category. Great game, great story, may not translate well to movie. I don't know about that one. Big Tone says, think they could do Elder Scrolls in a movie. Skyrim would lend itself beautifully to a movie. Den comes in with video game movies suck. Mortal Kombat disagrees. Mixed Memorabilia says Tomb Raider also disagrees. Also, by the way, Castlevania, the series on Netflix, fucking cool. That also disagrees.
Was that Nathan Fillion as well? Did you say that was
Castlevania? No, Castlevania was the voice of... in Castlevania was Richard Armitage, who played Thorin Oakenshield, who also happens to be in the chat with us. Not Richard Armitage, just Thorin Oakenshield. Francis Lillon, really loving game cinematics. Diablo blew my mind when it came out. Yeah, for sure. But I don't know how it would translate to a movie. Declan says a God of War movie would be epic and cast Jason Momoa as Kratos. Yes, I don't rate Jason Momoa, but hello. As Kratos, yes.
You know what? The wrestling fan in me
is one out of... Then, it's not our fault that UA Bowl exists.
But this is true. This is true.
He makes shit video game movies. That's one guy. His fault. Anyway, AJ, that's long old time on Uncharted.
I know that. It's because you realize when you connect certain things that people are into, video games, you're going to get the discussion. You can't avoid it. Right.
Considering how much Chris Trengrove and I disagree on Twitter, fuck me, we're having a bromance going on here. Keep it coming, Chris.
Right.
Number 6, please.
Right. This one has just been long anticipated for the absolute longest while. It came even before his Nemesis came. I'm talking Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam.
Yeah, no, could not give less of a shit about this
Really?
film if I tried. Couldn't give a shit. The Rock for me, I mean, I know Big Tone in the chat is a massive defender of The Rock. I think his movies suck for most part. I love seeing The Rock, but and I know he's the biggest movie star in Hollywood. But for me, The Rock, when I see him in a movie now, I don't get hyped. I get worried. It's like, oh, The Rock's attached to it. Red Notice, prime example. One of the biggest selling movies on Netflix sucks.
Do you know what? It's funny because I think I can agree with you in a weird way. That I kind of get hyped that he's in it because I'm happy to see him do well. The wrestling fan of the Attitude Era and me just won't die. But the other side of it sucked. The other side of me doesn't really get excited by it. Like, for instance, this whole I couldn't give two shits about Hobbs and Shaw.
No, Jungle Cruise was fucking awful. Hobbs and Shaw.
Jungle Cruise. I put it on for 2 minutes. I was like, I actually don't want to watch this. I get what you're saying, and there's a side of it too that I just feel like it doesn't work. But this one, I actually feel I didn't even think of it until you said it. But this one, I think, can actually work. One, it's a passion project. Not that those always work. Those can actually be quite self-indulgent and fucked up at times, actually, if I'm honest.
Robert Downey Jr. and The Judge you just called. Yeah, there's an example.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That just fits. Yeah, I enjoyed The Judge, but it fits the bill of what you've just said. It's self-indulgent as all hell.
Yeah, but I actually think he's going to do well with this one. I actually believe that the character of Black Adam will really be brought to life under The Rock. I feel that they're going to. I don't know a lot of the Black Adam comics or the Shazam comics for that matter either, but there's been so much building anticipation to actually get this greenlit, to going into production, to having it filmed, to actually making it become something. I think there's going to have to be a lot of respect paid to it, and
disagree.
I think I have confidence in this. I really have confidence in the fact.
I don't, because it's DC, and I'm sorry, I still haven't got the stink of the DC universe off me. Yes, they will make the odd good movie. Yes, I thought the first Wonder Woman movie, for most part, minus that weak third act, was good. I'm a defender of the first Suicide Squad, problems and all. It was fun. I love Man of Steel. No one will speak bad of that film. I thought the Snyder Cut was a marked improvement on the original. But fuck me, they do a lot of shit. Like, let's just be real. Their recent movies include Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84. Yuck. And bro, I'm sorry. The reason Black Adam has been delayed for so long, the reason it's been in this production hell, as I'm sure you know, is because DC are just being reactive to Marvel. They're just trying to play catch up all the time.
Listen, they
keep on changing the fucking story. That's clearly what's happened here. Okay, we're gonna do Black Adam and we're gonna have him fight Superman. Fuck, Henry Cavill doesn't have a contract anymore. He'll fight Shazam. Fuck, we don't know if we're gonna green a trilogy of Shazam movies. Okay, he'll be the main villain for the next Justice League movie. Shit. Ezra Miller's gone and fucked up. We don't know if we're going to do a Flash movie or not. But wait, there's a Flash trailer. Are we going to do Black Adam? Make Black Adam the enemy in Flash 2. Wait, that doesn't work in comic book law. You can just see the machinations of their mind having a complete... I nearly said a bad word there, which I'm not politically not allowed to say. But you can just see the machinations of their mind having a complete meltdown. You need to type it into the chat
because I'm very much intrigued as to what that word was. I don't know. I get what you're saying about Rock. But this one, I actually,
can't say that word.
Yeah, that really doesn't work anymore. I'm confident. I actually believe this one will actually be a good. I'm not in the whole canon of DC because I'm not taking DC as a universe anymore. I take them as standalone movies. I know there's a loose connection.
As you should.
I see there's a loose connection, and when you connect it, I'll connect it. But
there is the odd DC movie that I am looking forward to, as we will discuss. But this, which has just been in production hell for the longest time, and which has had 3 script rewrites in accordance with DC's constant changing of creative direction. I have no faith in this.
Can I be honest? There are 2 films that, because I've heard of it for so long, I'm just going to anticipate it. Good, bad, or indifferent. Yeah, this and Gambit. There are 2 films that were just forever.
Gambit's never happening, mate. Gambit will never see the light of day. Forget it. You are not going to see Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Listen, that Gambit is long gone. But we don't know what comes next. Just the fact of seeing Gambit being produced properly in an X-Men movie would do me happy. But
I don't even think you'll get that. I don't even think you'll get that.
You don't think Gambit, the character, will ever be seen in a film?
The MCU eventually, but I wouldn't hold your horses for Gambit being one of the first X-Men you see. Hell no. Hell no.
He should be. But
should be, yes. But I don't think that's what you're going to see. I keep on telling you, I think you're going to see a storm relating to Wakanda. I think they're going to be smart and steer clear of just slamming Wolverine down our throats again. And
I bloody hope he's not seen too quickly.
I think they'll make Wolverine the big holy shit moment. I don't think he'll be the first X-Men. But
that's what allows Gambit to be one of the early ones of intrigue.
Who'd you tie him in? Who'd you tie Gambit in with?
But if you're going to start with an X-Men movie, you could take it from his perspective or kick off.
If anything, you could start with a Magneto movie and tie him into Wanda.
Alternatively, you can start with Jean and start with Captain Marvel.
And for those of you saying, but Wanda wasn't born from Magneto in this universe, yeah, multiverse, motherfuckers. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and again, going back to what I said, Jean and Captain Marvel is a good way to bring in Gambit as well around that time. So he could.
You mean Rogue and Captain Marvel?
Did I say yes? Sorry, what? God, it's
Rogue and Captain Marvel's a great shout. I'm all for that storyline.
I actually really want to see that.
So a few comments have come in. Frank Torres actually is positive. The new Black Adam pics released today look promising. I saw them circulating
unless that's the image
on Heroic Hollywood's Instagram. They do look fun, to be fair. And he's larger than life as always. Declan says, think The Rock will kill the film and not in a good way. Chris Trangrove agrees with me. Red Notice is hashtag hot.
I wasn't even tempted to watch it.
It is fucking awful. Like this is in contention for worst movie of the year. Den the Tech says this has been in the works for too long. Get it over and done with so we can move on. I agree.
Possibly when I say anticipation, it's a mix. It's not like, hey, great, it's guaranteed to be good.
Riri Thomas says, I think The Rock is lazy casting personally. I think that's a bit harsh, Riri. Going back to 2014, when this movie was first announced, I was excited at The Rock playing a villain then. Now it's like, you're just The Rock.
Out of interest, Riri, who would you want to see now?
As Black Adam?
Yeah. Who would be your Black Adam now if good old Dwayne The Rock Johnson is lazy casting? I'd wait, but yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
No.
Big Tone says, I can agree The Rock's movies are very formulaic, but I'm hyped for Black Adam. Bro, listen, if it's good and you're hyped for it, that's cool. Cook says, up and Adam then. Love that. Francis Lalonde says, Marvel equals movies, DC equals TV, never try mixing. Yeah. And I think you'd be going to agree with that, given that you love the CW versus AJ.
So my issue is, I was telling the missus as well, I'm like, I've missed out for like 2 years, and I do want to get back into it. But also, DC animated movies do not disrespect. Or I always want to put that out there.
I know they're loved on our comic book group. There are some which are nice, but they are completely overhyped. They're fine. They are overhyped for what they are. We like them because we're geek boys and we grew up with this shit. And yeah, as movies, they're whatever. They're fine. There are some.
You would have to be a comic book movie fan to even want to give that the time of day.
Doesn't change the fact that they're average movies.
I think they're good. Anyway,
they're elevated because of our love for the source material. But as movies, they're whatever, mate. That Throne of Atlantis, I like. Crisis on Infinite Earths, yeah, okay, fun. Flashpoint, shit. I'm sorry. People who rave about that movie, that film sucks.
Well, I've not read the comics, so I found it quite interesting. I was actually I'm not going to overpraise it, but I was quite a fan of that.
Doomsday, again, one of the best Superman storylines. Terrible cartoon, and people rave about it. Chris Trango says, I'm in no way an MCU defender, but I think Nico's right. Chris, what the fuck? We're agreeing with each other. What's happening? Warner Brothers generally has no idea what they're doing with the DCU, despite the films getting marginally better of late. You say that, and I'll still mention Wonder Woman 1984.
That was such a letdown.
And Birds of Prey. Fuck me, those films were bad.
Do you know what I hate about anything to do with Margot Robbie, or should I say Harley Quinn? They're Wolverine in her. She becomes too much of a focal point and it gets stupid. Wonder Woman 84, I just found ridiculous. I've not finished it. I just found it such a letdown to the beauty of a film that you had in the first movie. I just thought, screw it. But yeah.
And Declan, I just want to raise this with you. The Flashpoint comic, on point. No disagreement. Flashpoint cartoon adaptation, nah. Not a good film for me. Not a good film. So that was your 6, right, AJ?
Yep.
Okay, so for the Chris Trengroves and the audience, and for the mixed memorabilias who are not the big IPs fanboys that necessarily we are, I thought I'd bring a little bit of melange to my list now, right? So I'm going to bring in one that I know a few people are going to be hyped for. Yes, he's had a few swing and a misses as of late, but it's still a name, and he's reuniting with both of his muses, DiCaprio and De Niro, being directed by Martin Scorsese in Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, I'm sorry, Scorsese doing a story about the formation of the FBI. Yes.
That is very much box ticking, isn't it? Like, you just hear it on the blue.
Yes,
I must admit,
yes,
I'll put my hands up. I didn't hear about it, but that has caught my attention.
With DiCaprio and De Niro, his two muses, like, sold for days.
That has caught my attention. That has caught my attention. I wasn't even aware of it.
I think
it's come low on your list then.
Well, I haven't seen a trailer.
Yeah,
and the reason it's that low is because, as I said, just as the preface, his last few films I've been mixed about. The Irishman was okay. I can't understand the passion that exists on both sides for it. There seems to be a group of film fans who are passionate about it again, which is great. Like, if the movie's there to be movies are there to be loved, right? It's art, but there seems to be a group of people who will defend it and not recognize its flaws. And conversely, there's the other extreme of people who are like, it's dog shit. It's like, well, it's neither. It's certainly not Scorsese's greatest, but it's you can't call it dog shit.
I think it is. I think it's because of sometimes you're seen as worse than you are when you take the credentials behind it. So when you take Scorsese, you take De Niro, you take all these strong elements, this film is going to be amazing. Then it doesn't hit your expectation. It becomes dog shit. Kind of like your summarization of what you believe could happen with, it's not a spoiler, screw it, we're talking Spider-Man. Like, because people have set such high expectations of 3 different Spider-Men, was it Daredevil slamming the papers down, which I don't believe it was, but all these different theories that there's too much potential to not get what your anticipation wants. It leads you to disappointment, and then it will be, this film wasn't as good as it could have been. It was all right, but it was take it for what it was, not what you wanted. But hey, that's my 2 cents.
Now, I will double down on this and say whereby I didn't have any extreme emotions for The Irishman. Up until this film I'm about to mention now, I thought Scorsese had what pretty much a flawless filmography. I think Silence is genuinely a bad film. I think that is so preachy, so patronizing, so up itself as a film. And you would think, for me, this has got me written all over it, right? I'm a mark for Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver. Both of them are in it. I'm a mark for Martin Scorsese. He directs it. I'm a complete Japanophile. This is about feudal Japan. It's like, well, hello. These are all things I love in the same box together. Yeah, they don't work in the same box together. It was long, it was laborious, and it was, your word from earlier, completely self-indulgent. But Scorsese talking about the rise of the FBI and casting his 2 muses, well, you got me excited here.
Cool. I'm down. I'll be honest, I didn't hear of it, but again, maybe lack of trailers may be why I've missed it. But yeah, that sounds like a winner.
Uh, Chris Trengrove says, applause, applause, applause. Den says, yes, yes, yes. That's a wrestling reference for you guys. Francis Lalonde says, Scorsese, I'm in. Frank Torres says, De Niro and DiCaprio take another one. Yes, they do take it to another level when they're working with Scorsese. Chris Trengrove says, I had a film Twitter argument about The Irishman earlier today. It doesn't evolve Scorsese style of the danger and futility of powerful, angry white men enough to separate it from his greats. Correct. And Chris Trengrove then says, have you guys seen The Last Temptation of Christ? Much better than Silence. I haven't, but I have heard of it. I must check that one out.
I'm going to add that to my list, Chris. I have a huge list, by the way.
Riri then says, have you seen the trailer for a film coming out next year called Gold, a dark desert set film starring Zac Efron?
Do you know what? I saw the trailer available today, but I didn't watch it, which I probably should have. It might have made the list.
I haven't seen the trailer for it, Riri, but Zac Efron is someone who I adore. I think he's an incredibly underrated actor. So sold. I will add that to my to see list. Francis Lawrence says, totally get you, Nico. I felt same way about War of the Worlds, Spielberg, Cruise, H.G. Wells. How could it go wrong? Right? And yet somehow.
Yeah.
All right. So that was my number 7. My number 6, I'm keeping it non-IP here, although it's an incredibly famous story. It's from one of the 2 greatest film directors ever, as brother, you know. It's not the Coen brothers, but we've got Joel Coen directing Denzel Washington and my favorite actress in the world, Frances McDormand, in The Tragedy of Macbeth. Now,
yes, I forgot about it. I heard about it. To be fair, I don't know if it would have made my top 10 though. It's interesting.
Oh, have you seen the trailer?
No.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Then it would. Oh my word. First off, let's be real. Frances McDormand is going to play Lady Macbeth. Now that's just perfection casting as it gets. You just know who Denzel is, which I love. Now, I've always loved what the Coen brothers do visually. You know, Villeneuve is a great visual storyteller. Cuarón is a great visual storyteller. Iñárritu is a great visual storyteller. So are the Coens, man. Like, and when I say a great visual storyteller, it sounds like a platitude because essentially movie is the medium of telling a story through visuals, right? What I mean is you can frame something in a way that it looks like a still painting, right? Something so beautiful that it makes you go, whoa, in your seat. You've got to have a serious eye for that. You need to have a great director of photography, someone like a Lubezki or a Roger Deakins, granted, but you need to be directing them to get that vision that you want. Now, the Coens are class at this. Think about the beautiful shots in Fargo, the red on white when you've got the blood in the snow. Think about a movie that you love, Hail Caesar, how grandiose they make everything look. Now, the Coens doing Macbeth with Denzel and Frances McDormand in black and white with ultra high contrast lighting. Sold. In like a motherfucker. Cannot wait for it.
Interesting. Listen, I'm not opposed to it. I just...
Bro, check the trailer. Check the trailer.
I will check the trailer.
Please check the trailer. It's beautifully minimalistic. It's purposefully minimalistic. It's stunning. Frank Torres has seen it and says, yeah, that Macbeth trailer is art. And for a trailer to do that is nuts. And Riri Thomas says, I will be checking that trailer out. Wow or now, but wow now. Either way. But yeah, Tragedy of Macbeth, Denzel and Francis, directed by one of the Coens, on it like a car bonnet. What's your number 5?
Right. This is another one where Chris and Dan are going to be slightly PO'd with me because I'm going into the world of Marvel now. Oh. Yeah. Morbius.
I'm excited for Morbius. I wouldn't put it as one of my 10, but I'm very excited for it.
It's something different. And what really... But
it's not.
But listen to why I'm saying this now. Okay. It's because we've got the whole MCU and you got that going on. But Sony are actually using their tools quite well now because they've had a few toys to play with and they haven't used them. Yeah, okay, it's still in the Spider-Man universe, I'm aware, but it's expanding on it.
Or is it in the Spider-Man universe?
Well,
because the Vulture's in it.
Come again? The Vulture's in it, and like, just look at the poster. It literally says Spider-Man and murder in the back. Yep. So it's somewhat in it, but we're not taking it. It's kind of like the way we've got Venom. who is in it, but we've purposely kind of pulled back a bit from making it very Spider-Man focused. Now, it could be, which if it is, then it won't. Probably my hype would somewhat die down, not in a bad way, but I'm looking. Morbius has always been an interesting character to me, anyway.
Yes,
as a villain, and I think that's where it's there. And I also, when you take a film now, Black Adam's different because it's just a hype of maybe seeing what The Rock's going to do. But when you take a film from the position of a villain, it's very interesting how they're going to tell it. Especially one who doesn't necessarily mean to do bad, but then it starts to lead into them becoming bad. I don't want to take it to this level because I don't think it's going to hit that mark, but take the Joker. The film The Joker, right? It was like, how are we going to tell the story of the biggest villain ever and make it focus without it just being all out insane? Come again?
Second biggest villain ever, Darth Vader.
Comic book world, sorry. I didn't finish the sentence. But this is, I mean, here we go again. And okay, people are gonna now it's different to when Blade came out, where you would release a film like this and not, before you'd just see the Marvel logo. Now you're gaining a tick box by putting the Marvel logo there. But in this situation, it's Marvel Studios. It's somewhat different. You're going to get people. Oh my God, what? He's linked to Spider-Man in a way. But I'm interested to see the way they play it and the backstory and how it leads into him becoming Morbius. Morbius is his surname, but that evolution into the villain. I think it's going to be something. You know me already. Vampires or something I can jam with.
That's what's kind of wonderful about him. In the stories, he's not really a villain.
But this is what I'm saying. He is. I mean, yeah. So you've got this whole mix of how they're going to play it. Obviously, he's going to do bad shit because it's essentially his way of survival. But I can see that resistance, and bro, we're talking comic books and we're talking vampires. This is like two of my tick boxes in one.
Yeah. This is a major thing.
It is, and I believe Jared Leto as the man to run with the ball on this also is a tick. It's a very big tick for me. So it's got enough to have spiked interest for me to be like, okay, yeah, let me see where you're going with this. I really want to see what's coming out of it. And it's for those deep in, it's another one in the MCU, in the comic book world. It can be something different as well, though. It doesn't have to be heaven. Comic book movies are different to what they used to be, but yeah, I want to see what's different. I want to see how they approach this one.
Funny, Chris Trengrove just came in with this comment. I know literally nothing about Morbius. It's a me, Paolo, Jared Leto playing him. That's a House of Gucci reference. I know. I've seen House of Gucci. And I actually think people slamming Jared Leto playing Paolo Gucci is monumentally unfair. I thought he was really good in it. But then again, I'm the guy who thought he did a good Joker. So what the fuck do I know? I liked him as the Joker too. I've never really watched Jared Leto and thought you were bad. He's always good. He always entertains me, Jared Leto. Chris, I mean, we're not going to go into now what Morbius is. You probably don't even care anyway.
If you said 0 Marvel movies, you're not going to care.
Exactly. Declan says, hot take, but I honestly think Leto is an awful actor and not looking forward to that film. But if they tie in Blade in some way, we'll be happy. They have to. They must tie in Blade.
It has to be.
I do not agree with your hot take, but it is indeed a hot take. And you are absolutely entitled to be stimulated and entertained by those who you are entertained by. Hey, man, if Leto doesn't work for you, that's cool. Hot take for me. Will Ferrell sucks. I said it. Will Ferrell sucks.
You know what? Haven't done it in a while. Hashtag edutainment. I co-sign that one. Yeah.
Co-sign.
That's a co-sign.
Frank Torres says, Morbius gets me in the theater because of Lecter's acting and speculation of a Blade appearance. I don't think you're going to see a Blade appearance in it, but I think they're going to tie them in if... Yeah, they're going to tie it in. Yeah. I've seen all but 2 of the MCU movies, believe it or not, AJ.
Oh.
Which 2? Will Ferrell better than Adam Sandler? No.
No, sorry, Francis.
No, Francis. No. Do not agree. No, Adam Sandler is, when he wants to be, he's a serious actor. When he wants to be. That was your number 5, yeah?
Yeah, over to you.
Why are they going to say punt, or I'm going to be asking you, why have you left this off? But in a number 5, Keanu Reeves, John Wick. Chapter 4.
Yeah.
Good. good.
Right, so that was your number 5, yeah?
That was my number 5.
Number 4, if anything, if it's not on your list, you're going to tell me it's not out next year, and I'm really pissed off if I'm wrong, because I really don't even have a replacement right now. In at number 4 for me, Dune Part 2.
Oh, there's no way that's coming out next year.
Is it not?
Nah, no chance, mate. No chance. They haven't even begun production on it yet.
Have they not?
No.
Why did I have?
Because Denis Villeneuve had a massive falling out with Warner Brothers, didn't he?
Bro, I had this. I don't know where I saw it, but someone said it was up for next year.
Nah, bullshit. That's some marketer who's put it on never.
I don't have it. I honestly so. Remember, I said there was a number 11 earlier. I'm just gonna have to go with Jurassic Park, but that is much. It's not my number 4, but I will.
Sure. And we've spoken about it, so that's cool. Comments say, "Oh, you behave. Oh, you behave right now."
Listen, I will. I was actually quite taken in by it. It was long. Don't get me wrong, it was long. I get that part, but I also am very aware that I was watching this film. It sounds very wrong when I say this. June was a bit of a filler because we were going off to get something to eat, but we knew we were going to be hungry, and it was like, oh, this film's about to start. Let's go and watch a film and go off. Then it was going on so long, I was like, are we going to miss a restaurant? Like, that's what was playing on my head. So I couldn't appreciate it in the same
priorities.
Vein. However, I thoroughly enjoyed the story. I there was nothing in it for me to not like. I could say something, but I don't think I have time for the backlash.
Are you going to diss Timothée Chalamet?
No.
Oh, very good then.
No. So, all right, screw it. I'll get into it. What I saw there reminded me a lot of maybe the prequels of Star Wars. I felt there was this very. It was very political. There was this. It just seemed to remind me of that. But I liked the way it was told better here than what I saw there. That's why I said I don't know
what it was hoping to do. I think I don't know if it achieved this, but I know that it was hoping to be kind of the first part of the Lord of the Rings, because the way that ended was exactly like Sam and Frodo going off alone.
Okay, if we're going to play it on that game, I was able to sit down there without feeling lost and take this journey on a lot easier than I was with Lord of the Rings 1.
That is fascinating. And can I tell you why? Because as books, Dune is a fuck ton harder to read than The Hobbit, than The Lord of the Rings.
I've not read either. So visually
the amount of made up shit in Dune, like I can pull the book down now, but like there are literally paragraphs where there are more made up words than real words. Like Dune is a hard read, man. So the amount of details about the different tribes and races and planets and names of everything. I mean, people say Tolkien likes detail and different names. Yeah, he ain't got shit on Frank Herbert. I prefer Tolkien, obviously, but yeah, like I'm very surprised you say that.
But this is nothing wrong with it. This is me watching. This is a man who has read neither book, right? So just watching it, I could really follow the journey of what was going on. It engrossed me that bit more. So that's why we can't talk about it now. Probably we're talking about it next year, if not the year after. But Dune itself, we're talking about it being a good film. I actually really enjoyed it. It
is good. It's really good. And how pretty is it? Fuck me. Do you see why I was saying see it at the cinema?
Yes. Like, don't get me wrong, it's pretty. It wasn't 300. Like, maybe I'm like for more gore than I am for beauty. I don't know. But, can I be honest? Like, one film that I did miss in the cinema that I probably wish I did see was probably more of a Hateful Eight. I'm joking. The Revenant. That.
Oh yeah.
That I did not. That I did not box up in the cinema. That was a bit of beauty. Hate the film, but Avatar I think was a thing of beauty that I would like to have seen in the cinema.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dune.
Never saw Avatar in the cinema. Fuck.
Those two will outtake Dune. I'm not saying it's not beautiful, but those are more.
I just feel like every single shot I was looking at in Dune, Villeneuve was like, okay, let's make this like the most beautifully lit tableau ever. I mean, every shot was art. It was
It was
sensational.
nice. Don't get me wrong, it was nice. Maybe anticipation. You know, when you kind of get something, you're like, oh, I need to see it. And I get it. Whereas had I just gone in and watched it, I might have been like, oh, right on that same train with you. I'm just 2 carriages back now. But hey, it is what it is.
Oh, bro, fair enough. Look, I'm Chris is confirming that June is officially a 2023 release.
Thank you,
Declan
Chris.
is firing shots at Den with me because what? June was fantastic. Yes,
with
it was. With we, sorry. Comes back. I saw it early, and I was before like part 1. Francis Lalonde said June Pain Box would be better with 7 type twist. Story doesn't really lend itself to that. Declan agrees that June book is super complicated. And then Chris comes back and says, funny you say that, AJ. I think Villeneuve's Dune is more like any Star Wars movie than any actual Star Wars movie that's come out.
But this is kind of what I felt. Like, it was, yeah. It reminded me a lot of that. And remember, I'm not deep in the Jedi world like you guys. So for me, taking these on I just kind of had similarities. So thank you. Really appreciate that, Chris.
So my number 4 is my one Marvel movie that I'm bringing in this year. AJ, who's my favorite Marvel character?
The man from Bleecker Street.
He's my second favorite.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Spider-Man's my favorite, bro. Okay. Spider-Man is to me what the Knight is to you. But my second favorite is from Bleecker Street, and we are, of course, talking Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Oh my god.
Numéro 3. But it would be an injustice for me to talk on your man. So I'm just going to sit back and let you...
That's my boy, G. That's my guy. You remember this. You're the one guy who can back me up. When we were doing... look at the happiness on my face now. When we were talking... comic book characters at school, and everyone was like, Batman's the strongest, Spider-Man's the strongest, no, Hulk is the strongest. Now, pick every fucking Marvel name. I was the guy saying, you're cute. No one is stronger than Doctor Strange.
So can I be honest? Do you know this is why? And I don't say this like disparagingly to the guy, but this is why Yusuf is in our comic book group, right? Because I was looking for you to tear him a new one because he insisted that Dr. Manhattan outdoes anything, and was it Dr. Manhattan or Dr. Fate? Either way, he was knocking down.
Okay, Dr. Fate can suck my furry beanbag next to Doctor Strange, all right?
All I know is he was slamming Doctor Strange, and I said to Zane, add him in. This is for Nick to destroy. Sadly, not in a bad way, but I didn't get the passion I was looking for that day. But I remember that I was like, because it's not for me to talk. I'm like, if you're going to ask about Doctor Strange and who's stronger than Doctor Strange, or who Doctor Strange versus
no one is stronger than Doctor Strange. Okay, so here's how it works when we talk Dr. Manhattan, who is one of the strongest characters out there, right? Dr. Manhattan has the ability to rearrange reality and matter. Okay. Doctor Strange has the ability to rearrange the cosmos in which that matter exists. That's the difference in power between the two. So when people are like, Hulk's really strong, I'm like, you're so cute. Oh, Hulk punched the guy. Cool. Doctor Strange created a universe.
But this is what I was going to say, is if one man can bend reality, this man has the ability to create a reality. So I appreciate
Den knows. Look, Den's with me here. Comic book Doctor Strange is too overpowered. Yes. Hashtag strongest Avenger. He just is. Right? He's been completely nerfed. I'm such a geek right now using words like nerfed. He's been completely nerfed in the MCU. The fact that there's even a fucking question mark over this shit at this point is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, but you have to do it. Otherwise, it just becomes too galactic and it just becomes one man and the whole MCU franchise just doesn't exist. So you have to just make him basic. And it gives space to unleash, which is essentially why, if you don't mind me cutting in before you can come back, why I'm excited. Because we've had a little TV series which was all kinds of cool, but Endgame gave me an unleashed wonder, and this is the part that has me like
I know,
it.
and you're a Wonder
get
Mark anyway, and that's what's made you think Wonder is stronger. It's like, she's
No,
not.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not disputing that. I don't care who's stronger. I know from what I know, and I'm willing to learn more about Doctor Strange. Don't get me wrong, but who Wanda is, the unhinged mutant with mad potential of power. That person who had Thanos require every bit of machinery to stop her. Her unhinged right now, because even the world that she created after this depression that she's gone through has now also been destroyed from her. It's not a pretty sight for anyone. And essentially, this is where the good doctor probably does come in and is required, because
He can Thanos her, literally. If this is comic book Doctor Strange, Wanda is the ant underneath the boot that Loki and Fury were talking about in the first Avengers movie. Wanda ant, Strange boot. That's how strong he is.
Bro, I get it.
We're never going to see Strange on that level, though. We're never going to see him that powerful.
Let's be honest, in 2 weeks' time, we're seeing that he still hasn't fully mastered his power because he fucked up just because someone was talking to him. So, like, he's got a long way to go.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they're nerfing my guy a little bit. But
he's got a way to go.
He's got a way to go. But in the MCU, the fact that we are going to see the multiverse of madness, and I'm not talking about the Spider-Man thing. I mean, Strange is madness. The fact that that means that we're probably going to see the villain Nightmare just makes me go, oh. The fact that that could lead into Mephisto, who is strong enough for Strange to become overpowered. Like, all of this makes me go, oh my God, unleash the good doctor, please. Now, in answer to Ruby's question, hard question for you, Nico. If Benedict Cumberbatch was not Doctor Strange, who would you want to play him? This is such a fucking hard question. Off the top of my head, Robert Downey Jr. Such a cheat, I know. Now, do you know what? Who's...
Can I say something that's really weird?
Go on.
But just because and you might tell me I'm going too old in age, yeah? But I always saw him as a much older man when I remember seeing the cartoon.
And it's because you've just said older man. Do you know who's just come to mind? I don't know why.
Go.
Nick Cage.
Okay, we went slightly different. Do you know who kind of came into my head and I thought, with it, the voice is slightly different to what I picture from the cartoon. And obviously he's in the MCU already. But I think J.K. Simmons would have been a very interesting.
Yeah.
I think J.K. Simmons would be a very interesting Doc Strange.
Yeah. J.K. as Strange would have been good, actually. I rate that, AJ.
Yeah.
I rate that a lot. Oh, no. I got it.
Go.
There can be only one. Daniel Day-Lewis.
I mean, yeah, okay. Fair play.
Disagree with me if you can. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot. Because you know he's going to break his ribs and go completely into method acting to get that into that role.
I would want to know what
he's going to learn magic from the fucking voodoo, from the fucking black magic people of Togo. He'll go and live in a Togo tribe for 2 years to learn voodoo. Watch him go. That's what Daniel Day-Lewis would do. He'd come back with real magic. Daniel Day-Lewis to play Doctor Strange.
I mean, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Is he not stronger than Eternity or Living Tribunal? Shh, we don't need to talk about them. Let's talk about them. You're correct, but we don't need to talk about them. Francis Lalonde said, Nico channeling Subotai. Your god lives on a mountain. My god lays above him. Yes, my guy. Yeah, look at Strange and What If. So good, so good, so good. Yes, and Declan says the villain is heard to be... Really? Shimagora? I thought it was Nightmare. Oh, don't say that. And then Chris Trengrove says, if Kevin Feige got Daniel Day-Lewis out of retirement for an MCU superhero, I'll believe then that Feige is indeed a deity. He is our Lord and Savior.
I mean, that would be something. Like, yeah. I mean,
because Lewis is one of those guys you can't buy. That is the thing. Like, so many people have said, how much? Blank check, how much? He's been like, nah. He's like that one guy who just doesn't do it for the paycheck, and he's always done it for the role. That's my boy, man. Doctor Strange.
It would be interesting. That would be very interesting. If anyone has any contact with Mr. Lewis, let him know that Nico has put out a big request.
Nico Lurot confirms DDL to replace Benedict Come on my baps. Although I do like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right. So you're number three. That was my number 3.
Highway to the danger zone. Right. This film is so freaking overdue. I'm talking Top Gun Maverick, of course. Oh my word. Listen, Anya hates this movie. She's never watched it to the end. I've tried showing it to her. She didn't even make it to the homoerotic volleyball scene. It's homoerotic. Let's just call it what it is, right? It was proper gay pride pinup stuff, which is fine. I thought it was wonderful, but she couldn't make it far past the first plane fight. She's like, it's literally a movie about Tom Cruise making love to a plane and saying pew pew. I was like, yeah, and it's great for it.
I've got to be honest. Top Gun is something I was a kid. I was literally a kid when I watched it, and I've got so good to it. But I remember having fun with it, and that's why it's like, yeah, I need to show it some respect.
You do. You know who else is in it? Who I've got a lot of love for, and who I also think is an underrated actor. Miles Teller. I think he's great. Miles Teller is meant to be Tom Cruise's protege in this, so I'm even more for that.
Nice.
Listen, I'm not going to fucking rave about Top Gun Maverick here more than I already have by singing the freaking chorus, right? It's a movie. It's a macho movie about men making love to planes and saying pew pew. I'm going to echo my wife's words, and you know what? Give me more of that.
Cool. Well, while we're talking pew pew and something that the other halves appreciate, that brings on my number 2, John Wick Chapter 4.
Ah, yes.
Mate, there are those rare occasions where the missus wins. Yeah. And when I say wins, is that I've won the missus over, should I say? And John Wick was one of them, because she's always said, I can't do action.
Yeah.
I showed her number 1, and she's like, oh, this is pretty good. I was like, hold on. You can't do action movies because they're too violent, and you're okay with John Wick. All right, cool. Let's continue. Followed by number 2. And I remember number 2, the way it ended, and I remember this. It was a lockdown. So we were, time is your friend, but we were like, okay, it's been a long night. We'll stop there. Number 2 finished, and she says, I need to see number 3 now.
Yeah, because number 2 is a fucking incredible action film. I mean, they all are.
Yeah.
2 is on another. We had gun fu in the first one. They invented car fu in this one, like kung fu with a car. What? That opening with the 67 Shelby. I was like, okay, sorry. Martial arts, Keanu Reeves, a reference to Buster Keaton in the opening scroll, a car chase with a Shelby Mustang, Peter Stormare playing a Russian, and a fucking fight scene with he uses cars as a weapon. He's not superhuman. He's not the Hulk. He is a human with human muscles, and yet he uses a car as a weapon. What?
I don't know if I shared that meme in the group the other day, but it has. Just going back to a bit of comic book, right? It's got Thanos doing the snap, and it's got John Wick, and you see the dog disintegrating. And then it goes back to Thanos. He goes, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Don't fuck with the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
But have you seen the supporting cast in this?
It hit me.
So you got Scott.
I'm blank.
If you know your martial arts movies, you'll know this person, Scott Adkins, he's that white dude martial artist who you see in all the B-movie martial arts films, but he's actually a legit fighter. That man can throw. Donnie Yen is in this.
Yeah.
Fucking man.
You said Scott. I was like, hold on, Donnie Yen's in this. I remember when they announced Donnie Yen's in this.
They've not only got the boys from The Raid in John Wick 3, they've now got freaking Ip Man himself, Donnie Yen. And just for cash, freaking Hiroyuki Sanada is in this. Scorpion is fighting John Wick. Yes.
What more can we ask for?
Just all day, yes.
Yeah. And I put my hands up to it. I've not seen, because I remember you introducing me to John Wick, and by the time you'd introduced me to John Wick, 2 was already like a thing. I think 2 was already out of cinema. So I was in the build up to 3, and I remember hadn't had enough time to see 2 to watch 3 in the cinema. And this is my John Wick in the cinema moment. Like, I'm going to see John in the cinema. And that's what's also got me very, very excited about it. Plus the fact that the missus, like, I remember her saying, when is this out? We are going to see this. Like the anticipation is joint emotion in this one. Her saying, we're going to see this one. She was like, put the next one on. I'm like, there is no next one. No, I need to see the. I'm like, there is no next one. They're making it.
Here's a question
don't get me wrong. 3 had me in certain places.
Yeah,
I was very excited. Like I called guns, lots of guns before it came.
Yeah.
On the other side, Pigeon Man did kind of wind me up, and like the dismemberments of like cutting my finger off for loyalty. Like there was a few bits I questioned more in number 3. We had dogfights in a way, and I'm not talking in the air. That was insane. The dogs in number 3 were insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm pumped, man.
The dogs being controlled by Catwoman. You know, another little geek reference for you there.
There we go. Yeah. We don't talk of Catwoman, though. Not that Catwoman, anyway.
We do not talk of Catwoman. Here's a question to you, and here's a question to everyone in the audience. You more excited for John Wick 4 or The Matrix Resurrections?
So here's my thing. I'm excited because the trailer made me excited for Matrix 4. John Wick 4, on the other hand, I was genuinely excited for because of where 3 was left off. And that's what gives me the tip. What makes it the winner between the two. Agreed. Matrix 2 and 3, I had no time for.
No, the car chase in 2 is great. Come on.
Yes, okay. So we take away the scene, which is sadly trumped by 1,000,001 Smiths, which I will never live down. Because it looked like
Big don't love that
back
shit.
then.
The Dragon Ball Agent Smith fight.
That looked like poor CG back then to me. So that's what makes it very difficult, because to me, it's kind of like Jurassic Park. Like, it was the one film and then the rest, right? That's the Matrix.
Yeah.
This one looks all kinds of awesome. Do not get me wrong. Even the missus, again, she could, again, maybe we're moving out too much. She couldn't get into the Matrix. She's not actually seen him become Neo yet, right? It was just, she just gave up at that point. She saw the trailer and was like, oh, we need to see this. I was like, well, you fucking need to see the first 3 films first. So I'm like, yeah, you can't just see that. It's not going to make any sense at all.
No.
Yeah, if there's some films you can jump in part way, this one, no way. Like, you need to see the first 3, irrelevant of how you feel. So, yeah, no, John Wick 4 takes the win for me.
I agree. A few comments have come in which we need to go over. Den says, I can't wait for John Wick. Riri says, that dogfight scene in 3, though. So much. Chris Trengrove says, are you ready for this hot take? Aside from the latter half of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies, the John Wick franchise is the greatest American action cinema of the 21st century. Mate, that's a hot take. I'll sign all day.
Yeah, that's a hashtag hot take. Yeah. Welcome, Chris. Welcome.
That is a hot take. I'll sign all day. Are you ready for this hot take to build on it? John Wick 2 is the second greatest. Is the third greatest action film of all time.
I could.
True Lies. True Lies. Nothing tops True Lies as an action film. Sorry, nothing is better than True Lies. True Lies, then The Predator. Predator is perfection.
See, you've quoted 2. You know my soft spot when it comes to Arnie. So
I know you're a Terminator guy. I think Predator is a better action movie than the Terminator.
One of the greatest like action / sci-fi movies.
It stalls in parts. It drags in parts. It really does. The Predator is flawless. It just is. The Predator is like, you've got John McTiernan of Die Hard fame directing it. You've got freaking Carl Weathers alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got what's his face from the WWE, Jesse the Body Ventura's in this. You got Shane Black of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang fame writing it. You've got Alan Silvestri, who just happened to do a song from a little movie called The Avengers, doing the da 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 da. Like, it's like a who's who of action, this film. It's fucking top to bottom flawless. But then says, I agree with Christopher regarding the John Wick take. Declan also agrees. Thorin adds, Bill Skarsgård equals Pennywise. Pennywise is in John Wick 4. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thorin is not, however, excited for The Matrix or John Wick. Both are money grabs. Den says John Wick. No, they are, AJ.
I mean,
but then every movie is.
The thing is, yeah. Let's be honest. Okay, John Wick could have easily ended at 1, but they've built this story and gone on to a certain part. Matrix 4, I would definitely say is a money grab because it's like, okay, let's bring back the Matrix. Like, you've done fucked up with number 3. Like, no one has a good word about number 3, but here, let's find another way to. It's kind of like Terminator. You keep doing wrong, but you're still trying to bring it back, like because you know you're going to make money just based on the IP name.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it with Matrix. I hope they do it right, but
that is maybe. This is pure rumor at this point, but there's a rumor that the storyline is closer to number 2 than to number 1. It's kind of like a thing within a thing. And I just read that and I was like, oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Frank Torres says excited for The Matrix, but I believe Wick 4 will be the better film. Oh yeah. Declan says John Wick over The Matrix. Why does my computer keep doing that shit? Zooms in. Den says Matrix is done.
To be fair, I'm clapping, but I'm excited for it. So it's weird for me to say that, but yeah.
Francis Lalonde says, I'm not overly excited waiting for Matrix. And Chris Trengrove says, once upon a time, John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 were scheduled to be released on the same day. It was going to be the greatest day of Keanu ever. Then COVID continued. John Wick was delayed, and I cried.
Bro, yeah, I know. The C word.
I said the C word. Declan says, shame. Cook says, oh shit, Nico knows. Yes, True Lies is the one. My guy, you know about the Harrier jump jet and the limo and the building and the missile and the chopper and the fucking, oh yes. And Thorin Oakenshields Die Hard, my number 1 action movie. Francis Lalonde.
I'm sure it's for a lot of people.
We'll make you a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus. Again, Predator. Yeah, it's the shit. You can't beat Predator. I'm sorry. Except if you're True Lies. AJ, what is your number 2?
That was my number 2, my friend.
That was your number 2. My number 2, you're not. I doubt this is going to make your list, but just for the sake of it being a cinematic experience, Avatar 2.
No.
Oh, bro. I'm so excited.
Okay, so put it this way. For me, going back into what I just said, I'm not going to spin it. Avatar in the cinema has to be a thing of beauty. Whether I do it in 3D or not, it's a thing of beauty. But the film bored the livid fuck out of me. I can't lie.
It's Fern Gully, bro.
Yeah, but Fern Gully told Brad then because I just couldn't. I'm
down with that. It is Fern Gully told Bad. We are talking cinematic experiences here. Now, then the tech said, right. So, listen, the 3D in Jackass 3
cinematic experience versus an anticipation of a film. That's 2 different things.
I'm anticipating the cinematic experience that the film is going to deliver me. We can put at straws all day long here. The fact of the matter is that people can shit on Avatar and it's become trendy to hate on it. There's one thing you can't shit on is the visuals in it. It's fucking beautiful, right? Even now, like 20 years nearly on, it's stunning, this film. Yeah, crazy to think that, isn't it?
That's a good point. That's something in defense for the film.
Listen, is it completely overzealous having 5 new ones come out?
No, that is also something I was going to bring up, actually. And it's a good thing I didn't bring it up because it's at your point. If you want to talk cash grab.
Oh, yeah.
I say no more.
Who's the king of the box office?
Avatar.
James Cameron.
Yeah.
Titanic and Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Until Avengers came along, he held
but then
number 1
it
and
knocked
number
it back
2.
Down. It knocked it back down.
What Avengers did?
Avatar's back at number 1. Somehow or another. Yeah. I'm not sure how they done it, but it's back at number 1.
That means it's cracked 3 billion. That's not going to be broken. Ever. That can't physically be broken. Short of them doing a movie, which is an hour and 10 minutes long and selling out for weeks and weeks and weeks. Just by sheer, numbers. Like, you need the movie to be short to get more screenings, to get more bums in seats. That's the only way you're going to beat it.
Yeah.
Look, like, The 3D experience that I had with Avatar is one of the most memorable cinema experiences I've had. I'm not talking about the quality of the film.
And
It
that's
was subpar.
interesting because you're not a fan of 3D. So
No, but that 3D was wow.
No. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That was 3D like you're meant to experience 3D. If all 3D was like Avatar, I would like 3D. Avatar 3D.
I've never done it in 3D, and it would catch my attention. But
please do Avatar 2 in 3D.
I probably will. I'm not going to say no, but again, you know what we talked about.
Apparently, answered your question. Avatar re-released it in China. There you go.
That's how they done it.
That'll do it. There you go.
You
say it's a cash grab. Who's the king of the box office? James Cameron. He's like, here, you may eat out of my hand.
I get it, bro. I get it. I'm just, do you know what scares me about Avatar? And again, I've never walked out of a cinema. Yeah. I want to see it for the beauty. I'm not in it for the story in the slightest.
That's fine.
I know, but do you know it's weird to ever say that about a cinema experience? Because
not really. Transformers.
Bro, I've never done, like, don't get me wrong. I've done films, but I've never actually, like, I've had shit. I've done Cats. I've obviously done a shit experience in the cinema, but it's never been to that degree where I'm just completely like walking into a film, because you can hate a film. Fuck's sake, what was that film you, Anya, and myself went to see a film. You insisted upon seeing it, and it was shit. Anna. Yeah.
That was awful.
That was all kinds of awful. But the anticipation, we were like, take it.
It's a Luc Besson action film. It was supposed to be good.
Like, exactly. The box ticket wise, it was Second Coming of Nikita. It sadly wasn't. But what I'm getting at is this one. I've never ever gone to a film with very low expectation. Like, I'm not going to enjoy this. It might be really good for me because I might really enjoy the hell out of it once I'm in there. But I know walking into that film, I would have zero expectation, like zero.
You got to remember one thing as well, AJ, is that James Cameron as a filmmaker is someone who's very close to my heart because he's a diver. And a lot of his influences in film are from the sea. Like, you just look at Avatar, that scene where you've got all of the little flying polyps, and that's fucking jellyfish. Those plants that they touch.
We're taking the visuals. The visuals will grab me, but it can only hold me for so long. Don't get me wrong, I'm forever going to enjoy it. It's eye candy. I'm never going to deny the eye candy. Avatar.
That's why it's there, mate. It's James Cameron and it's eye candy.
But I need a story. It's just who I am. I just need it.
Well, you got 5 of them coming, so hopefully there's a story there.
Fuck, am I seeing anything beyond 2? 2 will have to really grab me. I swear to you, I'm not watching anything beyond that.
Okay, I'm sure 2 will grab you because it's James Cameron. You may eat out of my hand.
It better is all I'm saying.
It will. Tucky says Avatar was probably my favorite cinema experience. Blew me away. Likewise, Tucky, did you see it in 3D? Thorin Oakenshield, far over the misty mountains cold, says Anna looks like a wet noodle fighting wrestlers. Yep. Agree.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Jay, what's first?
Come in.
What's your worst?
Do you know what I didn't pick? But now it probably would have been Avatar had I had to go for it.
Oh, fuck yourself with that noise.
No, again, it's the fucking anticipation of a zero in it.
Don't be, bro. The story may not be there. You cannot say Avatar's your least anticipated movie when it's going to promise arguably the best cinema experience of next year.
I'm not going to lie to you. The actual name Avatar raises hairs in a negative way for me in general, because I'm just like, and maybe it's because of all the hype that comes around Avatar. Like, as I said, I remember hearing it and I'm like, right, got to see this film. And I watched it and I was visually amazed and I appreciated that. But I was like, it's not for me. It just isn't. And that's in that sense. I didn't go that far. But like, visually, it's a beauty. But no, I don't have a worst. I'll leave it as that. I didn't have one and I don't feel the need to bring one up.
Francis Lalonde says, I was not really expecting a lot from Godzilla King of the Monsters and therefore was not overly disappointed. It did have requisite 15 to 20 minutes of kaiju fighting, but it had King Ghidorah versus Godzilla for the first time on screen. It gets a pass for that. And Chris Trengrove says, never bet against James Cameron. Yep, do it at your own peril. Betting against James Cameron when a movie's coming out is like betting against the Germans or the Italians in a World Cup. You never really know what you're going to get, but you shouldn't bet against them.
Yeah, but again, listen, I'm not betting. Listen, the love for Avatar, the fact that it's got so much love that he was able to get 5 films commissioned out of it, proves a lot. I'm
Was
not
the biggest
upset.
box office movie of all time.
Bro,
It's not a hard sell.
Well, exactly, it's not. A
Would
hard
you like
sell,
me to do this for you 5 more times?
But
That's
this is
what
what
he
I'm saying.
said.
All of that I get, so I'm not betting against it. But it's kind of like you and Bond. If you enjoy it, lucky you, because I want to enjoy it. I just can't. It's the same.
My worst is excuse me. Lost my voice here. Forgive me 1 second.
Right, while Nico is trying to... You back?
Are we back in the room? We're sort of back in the room. My voice is going to raspy.
While he's doing his best Barry White impression, guys, I would just like you to know that the Movie Mount Rushmore isn't just visual. So if you have friends who are really into podcasts, and like, could you recommend a good podcast? Tell them, just head on over to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, Stitcher, Audio Savin, and tell them to look for the Movie Mount Rushmore, where they can enjoy this visual experience in audio format. Nico, are you back?
Fucking frog in the throat there, mate. But yeah, I'm just about back. Yeah, mate, my worst was an easy one. I don't think this movie should be released. Death on the Nile. You know who's in this, right?
Hmm?
You know who stars in this, right?
Right, go hit me.
Mr. Army Hammer.
That's
a no-no. That's a no-no. This movie shouldn't be released.
Yeah, okay.
This movie should not be released. And the only reason there is, Disney are being sneaky about this one. It was supposed to be a big summer release. They're sneaking it out in February in the graveyard shift. Which is fucking disingenuous because they're still trying to make money off of this. The only reason this is getting released is because there's no, they wanted to block this, is my understanding. No contractual release clause for cannibalism, unfortunately. This movie shouldn't see the light of day, and this movie should not be supported. And if you don't know about Army Hammer, read up. Francis Long, the World Cup reference, Germany and Italy. And Chris Trangrove, listen, I love me some Kenneth Branagh. He's not the issue. I actually really liked him as Hercule Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express.
Didn't like the Tash. I thought it was a bit weird, but yeah.
As Hercule Poirot, I was fine with it. But, yeah, Francis Lalonde, Death on the Nile. It's the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express. So it's Poirot. It's a murder mystery again. Army Hammer's in it. Nope. I'm not one to throw the hashtag cancel slogan up quickly. I don't really believe in cancel culture. This, whether proved innocent or guilty, this is some heavy shit this man is accused of. And until he is either found guilty or acquitted, this shouldn't be seeing the light of day.
It's I can't really. There's nothing more to add on it. And as you said, Google it. If you don't know, Google the situation, and you can take it from there.
And that perfectly answers Chris Trengrove's question. Are you saying I should ask for a refund for my opening night ticket support? Yep. Don't think you should support this movie, bro. Dan says Minions: The Rise of Gru is my worst. No, I'm a sucker for the Minions.
I casually take Minions. I mean, like the big wow behind Minions is not there for me.
It's stupid.
It's fun, but I just it's one of those like I've had more fun with it than I did with Avatar. So it's the sort of thing where everyone's like, "Oh, Minions," and I'm like, I've enjoyed it, but it's not like, "Oh my god,
you
Minions."
need to be to enjoy the Minions. Then it's fucking great.
On the highway.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay.
Then it's all sorts of fun. Right. So I imagine we both got the same number one.
Well, I hope it's your number one. You kind of referenced him earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're
the same question you asked me earlier.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you now. Nico,
yes.
Who's my favorite superhero?
Superman.
You lying piece of shit. It's none other than
I am the Knight.
Yeah.
Who's got a cooler poster? You? That one's mine.
They're
both
mine has
cool.
the word. But the red is very, very heavy in the marketing of this. Irrelevant.
They've gone year one Batman on this shit, you know. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for this. Everything about this movie has me excited. Paul Dano is the Riddler. Yes, please. All day long.
Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Colin Farrell is the Penguin. I actually, you know what? If I could nitpick anything, I actually think Colin Farrell and Andy Serkis should have been cast the other way around.
Yeah, okay, I could agree with that. I can agree with
Colin
that,
Farrell
sure.
as Alfred and Andy Serkis as the Penguin, I would have bought more into, but I'm still very happy with it. The prosthetics that they've done to Farrell.
That's the part I'm like,
whoa.
But then you could imagine that prosthetics again. Now that you put it in my head, with Serkis would have just been insane. Like, it would have been something. It would have been something.
And it finally gives me time to have one of my favorite moments in a comic book group when I get to say, "Told ya."
But hold on.
Not to you.
I don't think we've got a lot of.
You are kidding me. The fucking vitriol I was greeted with. This is going back 2 years now. This goes back to our first comic book group chat. We're in phase 2 at the moment. Should be phase 3, technically.
Same members. It was a weird thing that we done.
Our first comic book chat. The vitriol and anger that met Robert Pattinson being cast as Batman. The fucking boring soundbite that kept coming back going, "Oh, the Twilight guy." It's like, yo, Twilight was a long time ago. You could also say the Cedric Diggory guy, and I would still say, yeah, a long time. Man's done some shit since then. Like, go and watch his movies. Go and watch The Rover, for fuck's sake. Like, Pattinson is the business. And I still remember vividly when I started saying something in the group about Pattinson, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, maybe." It's when I said, if you needed any more justification about how good Pattinson is, the granddaddy director of Batman, Mr. Christopher Nolan, has just cast our Pats in his new film called Tenet. What more fucking validation do you need? That was the point people started going, "Oh, maybe." It's like, you still haven't even seen his indie movies, have you? You still haven't seen The Rover, have you? You still haven't seen his independent stuff. You haven't seen the stuff he's done with Werner Herzog, have you? You haven't seen shit. But you've heard that the granddaddy director of Batman has cast him. Now you're happy. Okay. Just saying. I now get to say to everyone, "I told you so," and everyone's going to be like, "I never disagreed." It's like, of course you didn't. I know.
As I say, it's Batman. That's
fucking Batman.
This is the thing. Now there are some screenshots or clips from the trailer that's had me a bit like, what am I seeing here? Because I like to see a very two different sides to a coin when it comes to Bruce and Batman. You know, that's what I like to see, and I'm seeing a guy who's very much quite gothic in a way, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to take it, but it still has me in a level of excitement. I think the casting is very good on point. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman is also something that we
brilliant,
and I think it's going to be amazing. The magnitude of characters, like the fact that you've got the Riddler, the Penguin, and Catwoman. These are some hitters, man.
Joker.
Come again?
Maybe the Joker.
Possibly, again, probably a post-credit. Like, there's so much stuff you can play with and work with on this. But I actually feel like, how can I say it? I don't have a beef with Ben Affleck that much. I must admit, he probably will fall under second least favorite Batman for me. I won't deny that. But I also felt that it was just too far in age, you know? I think Robert Pattinson is at that right age to give us a Batman.
Year one.
Yeah. And it's something to work on. Let's rebrand the Bat. Let's rebuild him. Let's bring back the excitement for Batman. Yes, we've had an amazing trilogy.
Distance Batman from that DC universe bollocks and let him live in his own world. He doesn't need the Justice League. Sounds crazy to say that Batman doesn't need Superman or anyone else. He fucking doesn't, because he's Batman.
You know, again, going back to the Justice League cartoon, and I know we don't want to play the animation versus what have you again. You take it how you take it. But even in that first Justice League movie, when they're all talking about this membership, and he's like, "Nah, not for me. If you need me, and you will, I'll be there. Like that's who Batman is. Yeah, like there needs to be that distance because Bruce gets shit done on his own, man.
Yeah,
and this is
but even there, you're tying story stuff in together. What I'm excited about this is that they're not even acknowledging.
but this is what I'm trying to get at is it's that visual is who Batman is for himself. It doesn't need to be there. Let's just bring it back. We've got all this Flashpoint and all this other madness going on. If we're going to really do this properly, give us a Batman we can relate to. Irrelevant of if you're going to tie in, if it's not, we need Batman. Like it needs to be done. And that's what I'm loving.
Yeah. And can I tell you, for anyone who still thinks, oh, he's that pretty boy from Twilight, just watch that scene in the trailer because he did a lot of his own stunt work, which I always like it when actors do that, when they really take on the role. Yeah, there was some shit where he needed a stunt double, but he did a lot of his own stunt work in this, a lot of his own combat. I'm not saying he's on Keanu Reeves level, but he did some of his own combat, you know. For anyone who thinks he's still the pretty shiny vampire from Twilight, just watch the scene in the trailer where it looks like the Joker's army because they've all got the painted clown faces. That's why I said the Joker could be in this, or there's remnants of him in this. When the Joker army, he arrives and they say, "Who are you?" "I'm vengeance," and he proceeds to knock the living fuck out of the guy, rabbit punch in the throat and all. The speed and violence with which he's moving, I'm like, yeah. Yes.
There's a lot to be excited for. There's a lot to be excited for in this. As I said, the Bruce bits have scared me, but the Batman bits I have loved. And the casting, I think, is phenomenal. So there's not much for me to really hate on this. And what I would hate on is just based on expectation. So, like...
So Matt Reeves, bro, he did the second Planet of the Apes movie. We're in safe hands. Cool.
I'm happy.
We seem to have a lot of people on us with us too. Like Chris Trengrove says, Pattinson is a great actor. Have you guys seen Good Time? No, that's his one movie I haven't seen yet, Chris. That's on my to see still. To Frank Torres, quick up or down Pattinson. The Lighthouse. I adored The Lighthouse. It's one of the craziest modern films I've seen. Riri Thomas says, it feels like a fresh take and I am buzzing. So you should be, Riri.
That's the way to look at it.
Francis Lalonde says, I hadn't gotten excited about The Batman, but listening to you two has raised my expectations. Well, then job done to all of us movie fans. We're generating excitement for each other. I love. However, Francis, your next comment, Superman drags DC film heroes down. I love Henry Cavill, man. I'm sorry. And you've got someone else in the chat, Mr. Big Tone, Andy. Superman's his favorite character, so you'll be tread carefully, Francis. And speaking of Big Tone, he says, my personal criticism at first with Pattinson is how he looked when the teaser dropped, but I was happy to learn that is only because he gets drugged, so he looks more like he does in Tenet. Good. Den says, this looks like Batman of the future, and I need to see him as Bruce Wayne properly.
That's my main thing. I need to see the Bruce. I need to be happy with the Bruce to be overly happy with this film. But his Batman stuff, I'm down.
You've seen his workout, by the way, that he's put himself through.
Yes,
he's big. Boy got jacked. People, he's still too skinny.
Hold on. Was it not him who gave that speech at one point about? I can't remember what we were doing, but there was a point he did give the speech about, I shouldn't have to work out for Batman.
Yeah, stupid. That was he was trying to be like
body positive,
bro. Even I went on him on that, and I'm like, you're my guy, but shut the fuck up. Like, like if there was ever a role that actually demanded that you be in peak physical human condition, it's the Batman.
But it's just certain things you have to just be honest with. Do you know what I mean? And certain characters require certain shit. It just is what it is. You know, there is no way in all formats. Okay, God rest his soul. Love the guy to bits, but you could never tell me to take a film seriously if you were going to tell me that John Candy was going to play Bruce Wayne tomorrow. Like it just doesn't. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. Okay, so
do we do a Rushmore is the question.
It's so hard because the thing is, it's just down to personal preference on this, isn't it? It really is a very personal situation. Now,
the Batman would clearly go on. So what did we punt on each other? Batman, Top Gun, Uncharted, and John Wick.
Yeah. Oh, strange.
Oh, fuck Uncharted. Nah, fuck that.
Ooh. But is it Uncharted over Top Gun? Genuinely?
No, it's Top Gun over Uncharted.
Okay.
Are we doing it?
Uh,
Our most anticipated movies of the year, Rushmore.
So, okay, this is a good point that Chris is going to put out. You guys omitted Mission Impossible 7. Now, can I be honest? I wasn't aware of Mission Impossible 7 until very recently, and I've not seen the trailer. And it's very much like, okay, I didn't want to over superhero it, but across the Spider-Verse had just come to my attention. And I haven't had that time to build up enough for me to be like, oh, whereas the others had kind of been a long time coming. I kind of agree with Den as well. I'm jumping people, but Den has also said no need for a Rushmore.
There's really not a need for a Rushmore, is there? Because I mean, what's going to win here is the Batman. I'm sorry. Maybe Top Gun will come in second, but yeah, Batman's going to destroy that poll. Guys, exceptionally, we're going to skip on a Rushmore this week, just because it doesn't lend itself well. Because like Chris Trengrove is a prime example here. He's mentioned Mission Impossible 7, which we haven't even included. So you can't do a Rushmore of what people are anticipated for. We're going to be excited for different things than you.
However, Declan has said, because people do put in their top 10s, that it would be wrong of us to not count them.
Yes,
Declan has given us his top 10 films of anticipation, and it is in at number 10, Lightyear, 9, Knives Out 2, good point, 8, Jackass, 7, Jurassic World, 6, Avatar 2, 5, John Wick, 4, Doctor Strange, 3, Spider-Verse, 2, Uncharted, 1, The Batman. Very healthy list.
It's a very healthy list. Fire away now, guys, just as I'm bringing up the Rushmore from last week. What your top 10 or top 3 or top 5? Give us your anticipated movies for next year. Chris, I'm expecting you to take part here, my man.
They show the detective side of Batman, something that has been missing. This is true.
Apparently, they're going very hard with that.
Chris, you may be honest. Yes, we can be. Thank you. Den said no need for a Rushmore, as I said before. Chris Traingrove said no trailer yet, I believe. Not too short film we were talking about that. Oh, Mission Impossible 7. Yeah, there we go. So that would go for it. Francis Lalonde, only a couple I had prepared for the list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Part 1 and 2 Morbius. Hey, that's all good. Den says maybe top 3. Francis Lalonde again. Rushmore decision. Agree. As you say, it's based on personal preference. Yeah, it's a tough one.
And Chris says one Mission Impossible 7. I love Chris.
Listen, that's what we need. But this is the thing. Everyone has their own personal experience. And I think that's why you'd get this random vote, but then there'll be a load of comments about what about this? What about that? It's not enough to find common ground on. Okay, we as best friends have got that common ground because that's who we are. But you put that out to the rest of the world. Some people could not give two shits about Doctor Strange. Couldn't give two shits about John Wick. Like it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Damn you all to hell. But it is what it is, you know?
Damn dirty apes.
So yeah, okay.
Right.
Do you have the list?
I do.
So guys, normally with the Rushmore comes a follow-up. We, the Silver Screen Dudes, have the ultimate challenge of creating the 4 must-see movies. Now, how can we create a must-see if we haven't seen them? Exactly, hence no Rushmore. But in a normal situation, we would create the 4 movies of a topic, and then you guys have the challenge of voting for the best of the best of the best of the best. El Capitan, El Numero Uno. Do you see that, Dan? I had all the best in there for you. And to quote Highlander and Andy, who's not here today, in the end, there can be only one. So last week, our topic was
the best musicals.
Yep. And our candidates were
Grease, Singing in the Rain, The Sound of Music, and The Wizard of Oz. We had 492 people vote. I can hear the baby screaming, so I'm going to have to wrap this one up quickly, I'm afraid. So do you want to just run off and guess?
Right. Okay. So I don't know what I'm going to say. This in at number 4, Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so in fairness, there's no fourth. There's a joint third this week.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Screw it, I'm going to go with it because it didn't seem as popular as I thought it was. Grease.
No.
Sound of Music.
No.
Singing in the Rain. You were hurt as fuck.
You have no idea.
You were hurt as fuck.
Oh, so much. So
in
much.
at number 2.
Singing in the Rain and Wizard of Oz both got 23%. Like this was the one. There was one point. I think it was Pedro or maybe Francis. Pedro Francis or Mixed Memorabilia says, they said there was a comment about Jesus. It's going to be a photo finish because there was literally at one point 1% separating all 4 movies. It was nuts what happened.
Damn.
You did indeed miss musicals, Den. That was last week, but you can still go back and listen or watch.
Den is looking forward to John Wick, Black Panther. Black Panther, I'm touch and go with, and Fantastic Beasts.
I can't deal with those Fantastic Beasts movies.
I've not touched them yet myself. Number 2 is Sound of Music.
Yeah. Fuck you with that. It's Shaun of the Dead territory.
It's not. This is more.
Fuck you.
This is in the how it ends or whatever. This is the end. That's what this territory is because I actually enjoyed this film.
Nah, bullshit. This is the biggest fucking movie travesty we've ever had. The day that god awful pile of teenage wank pop shit, Grease, beats one of the best films ever in Singing in the Rain, I have officially lost my faith in Twitter humanity.
Do you know what? I'm not saying it's similar to La La Land, but Grease is a full-on musical where it's weird. There are, I don't have time to break it down. I don't have time to break it down at the minute because you don't have the time either.
I'm disgusted. You got your own back for Shaun of the Dead. You're happy. You're won.
This is the end. But what was the percentage, just out of interest?
It was close, bro. Like Sound of Music. So joint third was 23. Sound of Music at second was 26, and Grease was 28. Like it was really close. Like Grease came in with a flurry at the end and broke my heart.
It is what it is.
Grease is not a better movie than Singing in the Rain.
It may not be a better movie, but it's a greater musical. There it is.
No, it's not. In no way, shape, way, or form ever. No way, no how, never.
Guys, so
people only know one song from Singing in the Rain. That's not true.
Oh, Good Morning and Singing in the Rain. Fair play.
Good morning, Singing in the Rain, make them laugh. The fucking wall run flip.
That, bro.
How can people not know Make Them Laugh?
Over the try the songs they're going to know from Grease. Let's just really through.
Fucking songs, man, from Grease. God, that movie's shit. Anyway.
Personal preference. Anyway.
Indeed.
So,
wrap it up.
Guys, once again, just going to put them out there for you once again. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, Stitcher, GS7, and just search for the Movie Mount Rushmore. Guys, once again, please tell a friend to tell a friend. Without you, there is no us. It is. Yeah. Hey, listen. Question. So Chris Trendgrove has asked, Grease is a movie.
No. Say it properly for the people listening on pod. Grease is... ... A movie. Singing in the Rain is a fucking masterpiece.
But it won, so you can...
Yeah. Shaun of the Dead was rated the best zombie movie ever. People make mistakes, yeah? Den says Sound of Music would have been my pick too, bloody right. And Ant says Grease is a cultural phenomenon. Don't care. It sucks.
I love how you cut the rest of it. Grease dominated when it was released. You have to...
Cool. That's great. Transformers dominated at the box office. That doesn't mean that it's good.
Yeah, but people don't still talk about that, whereas Grease has had...
Yeah, they do. That's why they're making a 6th film. That's why they're rebooting the Toy Story, the toy line again. That's why they're rebooting the cartoon again. That's why it's been...
Well, you can thank Bumblebee for that.
Again.
You can... Anyway, we have no time to debate. Guys, thank you very much. Do tell a friend to tell a friend. As I said, without you, there is no us. So it is very, very much appreciated. So until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
And tune in next week for our... Well, it's going to be a top... Chris, this may not be for you, but hopefully you'll still join us anyway. We're going to be ranking the top 10 Spider-Man movies. But there's only 9 Spider-Man movies, I hear you say. Haha.
Head on over. Should I tell them now or leave it?
No.
Okay,
They can tune in next week because there are, in fact, 10 Spider-Man movies.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And if you don't know, tune in next week, same time, 8:15 p.m. BST, Tuesday, right here. Silver Screen Dudes on YouTube, Movie Mount Rushmore everywhere else. Guys, I am Nico Lurot. We will see you next week.